Happy Monday evening, everyone. How are we? How's it going? Barbara, Casey, Kimmy, Deb, Bob Kitten, Hippie Chick, Patty, Louise. It's so good to see y'all. All the girls are in the house. Almost all the girls. How you guys doing? Hey, how's the Christmas shopping going for everybody? You guys getting things taken care of? Because I'm not. Hey, Abby. I did a little bit today. But, hey, Spidey. I still have a ton to do. I haven't, sat down and gone, "Okay, I did this. I got this for this person. I got that for that person. Okay, what else do I need to get?" I haven't done that yet, so. I thought we would start today's trial with hey, Tequila. We'll do some more. I thought we'd do some more audio clips today. So, not audio clips, media clips. Hi, Nancy. Good evening. To kind of see, bring things familiar, as if we were right before he got arrested or right around the time of things were going on, right? Kind of get you guys back in the mode so that when we go into the trial, you guys are going to go more like, okay, we're there. We're here. This is it. Hey, show. So I'm going to pull up this first one. I have more of them for us to watch, and then we'll go into the trial.
Human remains have been found in the investigation of a Windsor man's murder and his wife's disappearance.
Their son, Chandler Halderson, is now charged in the murder of his father, Bart. Late this afternoon, Dane County Sheriff Calvin Barrett said those remains were found on DNR land near Sauk City.
A criminal complaint shows a witness spotted a man matching Halderson's description in that area on July 3rd. A canvass of that area on the Wisconsin River near Old Highway 60 led to this discovery yesterday.
We actually obtained a photo of Chandler being in that general area, which has led to us being in that area.
The Dane County Medical Examiner's Office will determine the identity of those remains and the cause of death. Tony Galley has been following these breaking results all day long, including Chandler Halderson's court appearance this afternoon.
Tony's near the family's home right now in Windsor. Tony?
With Chandler Halderson now charged in the killing of his father, Bart, and the disappearance of his mother, Krista, authorities are revealing more information about events both here at the Windsor family home and also at the town of Cottage Grove property of the family of Chandler Halderson's girlfriend. A criminal complaint says the mother of Chandler Halderson's girlfriend saw Halderson come to the property after his parents' disappearance with a saw blade and scissors. Authorities say Bart Halderson's remains were found there later. And the complaint says Halderson claimed his parents left Windsor with unknown companions in an unknown vehicle with loss of cash and booze.
We have specific evidence of the defendant taking steps to destroy or conceal video. There is a web of lies that is quite impressive. It wasn't, frankly, so tragic.
Authorities say Chandler Halderson told detectives he angered his father before he disappeared when the younger Halderson broke fireplace glass, throwing a ball to a family dog, and claimed blood was everywhere as a result of cutting himself in that accident. And as the search for Krista Halderson continues, and with her son's bail $1 million, a detective says as Halderson was booked into the Dane County Jail, he blurted out he didn't feel bad about what he did, whatever that turns out to be.
What the heck?
Reporting live in the town of Windsor, Tony Galley, 27 News.
What? Say what? Say what? Thanks, Ball. How are you? Hey, Lady T. Hey, JPC. Oh, my goodness. He didn't feel... I saw something like that earlier, and I was like, what? Are you kidding me? All right, got a couple more.
Thank you for joining us tonight. The Dane County man who reported his parents missing is still in jail. And a police investigation into the disappearance has resulted in the recovery of human remains. Adam Duxter spoke to the son of the missing parents, Chandler Halderson, just yesterday and explains why police are hesitant to release details on the investigation.
Well, prior to this week, aside from as much as a speeding ticket, Chandler Halderson, who lived in this Windsor home with his parents, had a clean criminal record. But police say his lies about his parents' disappearance were enough to arrest him. And now they're still trying to figure out what's true. Police still present this evening at the Halderson family home in the village of Windsor, 24 hours after the Dane County Sheriff's Office arrested 23-year-old Chandler Halderson, who they say told them, as well as us, misinformation regarding what happened to his parents.
To my knowledge, they were going to Langlade County to a cabin, their cabin. Along the way, they could have stopped many places. I wouldn't know all of them.
Police say interviews with neighbors, family, and friends led them to remains in rural Dane County last night. At a news conference, Sheriff Calvin Barrett wouldn't clarify whether those remains are Bart and Krista Halderson or share where they found them.
Do you aware?
Yeah, in rural Wisconsin, rural Dane County.
What community, Sheriff?
It was in a rural area of Dane County.
Can't say more specifically.
No, again, this is an ongoing investigation, and we don't want to interrupt what we have going on right now.
Tonight, Chandler Halderson remains in jail while police try to put together answers and the community attempts to make sense of the situation even without them.
Offer our thoughts and prayers to the family, and the Village of Windsor partners with the Dane County Sheriff's Department for law enforcement, and we appreciate the relationship that we have, and we hope to have this come to a speedy conclusion. Thank you.
The rest of the Halderson family says they're grateful for the support and still hoping for the best outcome. Sheriff Barrett says they're determined to figure out what that outcome is, but still need time.
I want to let everyone know that the Dane County Sheriff's Office, our women, men, detectives, and investigators are going to do everything that we can to bring closure for this investigation.
Sheriff Barrett says now
Wow.
they're waiting for an autopsy on the remains they found yesterday, but says that process could take days, potentially into next week for them to get those results.
Authorities say they've linked human remains to Krista Halderson, who's been missing for weeks. Her remains were found in the town of Roxbury. Her son, Chandler Halderson, was photographed there just before investigators made the discovery. Tony Galley reports on how the case against Halderson is growing and the sorrow that surrounds the family.
The words about the fate of Krista Halderson
I think I've been bracing for it.
were still difficult to hear.
The Dane County Medical Examiner's Office, working in partnership with the Wisconsin State Crime Lab, has confirmed the DNA obtained from part of the dismembered human remains previously discovered in the town of Roxbury as matching 53-year-old Krista Halderson.
I mean, it was just heartbreaking is the best way I can word it.
Dave Whipp and his family were former neighbors to Bart and Krista Halderson in DeForest. They had been trying to come to grips with Bart's killing since his partial remains were found in the town of Cottage Grove earlier this month. The grieving resumes.
She was just a delightful person, giving person, volunteered in the schools.
For those close to the Haldersons, there's also the charges against their son, Chandler Halderson, that he's accused of killing his parents. Even with both the deaths of Bart and Krista Halderson now confirmed, the carrying out of these homicides continues to have sheriff's personnel working. And Sheriff Barrett says more human remains were found, this time inside the Halderson home just days ago, and have yet to be identified. As searching continues, still nothing from authorities on what might have been the younger Halderson's motive, as friends reflect on the relationship of Krista and Chandler Halderson.
Mother, son, nothing out of the ordinary. Nothing stood out.
No answers. Tony Galley, 27 News.
Sheriff Barrett expects charges will be filed against Chandler Halderson for killing his mother and disposing of her body. Those charges are expected to be filed soon.
Okay. I want to go to this one really quick. And before we go to that one, I just want to let you guys know. Remember I said I want to do a little timeline. Hi, Lenny. Hi, Dennis. Did I miss anybody else? Hi, Blanco. Okay, so July 1st is when the police think that he did murders, right? He says that they left at 6 a.m. the next morning on July 2nd to go to this cabin with this unknown couple that took their vehicle. I think on the 3rd was the day that he disposed of his mother's remains. The 4th was the day that he fakes text coming from his mom's phone. And then they also went over and saw his mom's coworker during the fireworks. On the 5th is when he went over to his girlfriend's mother's friend's house and disposed of Bart's remains. That lady Cress, her name's Cress. And then on the 7th is when he came back and he reported his parents missing, and his brother goes over to the cabin. But I kind of have it's kind of gray between the 5th, the 7th, and the 8th. I think the 7th was when they started to find the remains of Bart. They started to become suspicious of the remains of Bart. But on the 8th is when they did their police interrogation, and they arrested him for false information because that was all they could get him on at that time. And then they found out they were finding stuff in the shed as all this was going on. And before he went in to speak with the police, though, he did give a couple of TV interviews. So I think that's when those were given. But he also had done a couple of Google searches that's on the 8th. And one said body parts found. And then another one said Bart and Krista. Those were the two different types he searched for. On the 9th, the police gave their press conference. On the 10th, a lady from the Wisconsin River area called in that she saw somebody that looked suspicious doing something after she saw the police press conference. On the 11th, they got the search warrant for the house. And on the 12th, the remains for Bart were identified. And so they were able to add the homicide charges on that point. On the 14th is when they went over, per this lady's, call-in or whatever. They go over and they find Krista's remains. That, well, not just the lady's call-in, though. It also was the Snapchat thing that led them there as well. On the 22nd, so it was from the 8th to the 14th between when they found mom and dad. And on the 22nd, they searched the pond behind the Halderson's house because they still had not found all the remains. But on the 27th is when they said they found more remains in the house, and I think that's when they found what was left in the fireplace. On the 28th, police announced that Bart and Krista's IDs were found in the home and their cell phones as well. So I guess over days of going through their house, I guess this was a process, but it could just have been that they just announced it at that point. On the 30th, Krista's remains were confirmed by the lab. And then they also added more charges to Chandler for the murder of his mom. Let's see if there's any more. I think that's it. Yeah, that's kind of the rundown of the timeline. So you're talking about from July 1st, the whole month of July was when all this went down. So let's go ahead and listen to this last media clip, and then we will go into the trial.
About the missing Windsor couple. Their son is in the Dane County Jail this morning, accused of giving false information to authorities.
We actually heard from him yesterday on his parents' disappearance. Taylor Lazenby has new breaking information from the jail this morning. Hi, Taylor.
Good morning, guys. That's right. The Dane County Sheriff's Office will give a press conference later this morning on an update about this case. Right now that we know, they're breaking details overnight, putting Bart and Krista Halderson's son, Chandler, behind bars. This is what we know so far. We know that 23-year-old Chandler Halderson is accused of giving officers false information on a missing persons case. Now, the couple was supposed to be up in North Langley County for the 4th of July holiday, but it's not clear if they ever made it there. Now, News 3 Now's Adam Duxter spoke to Chandler about his parents just hours before his arrest. He said he last had contact with his parents on Sunday.
I actually got a text from them on Sunday telling me they were going to White Lake. I don't know when the text was sent because of reception issues that they would have. They usually turn their phone off because of pay for roaming.
Well, it's not clear right now if the Dane County Sheriff's Office considers Chandler a suspect, but officers are now considering the couple's disappearance as suspicious. Of course, again, we will have an update too.
All right. So we're fixing to go over the trial. Hey, Barbara. Oh, I said, hey, Barbara. She's having trouble syncing her devices, girl. I know that you're logging, when you're logging into YouTube, you're logging into Google, if that helps any at all. Casey's on top of it. She's going to try to help you. Sharon and Noreen came in. Hi, guys. All right. Let's get over to actually, we're going to start with this one. I have a video file I want to share with you guys. And what I've done is I've gone through a bunch of the discovery witnesses and I've clipped out a ton of just what I call the fat. I mean, it's basically just a lot of stalled moments, them unwrapping evidence. It's really, really slow. So hang on, let me find. Here we go.
I'm going to present you with exhibits 125 through 131. Just as a group, in one sentence, not individually, how would you describe exhibits 125 through 131? You can look through them. That's perfectly fine.
So you want me just to describe it as a group, as to just...
Yep. What are those photos of?
This is just a representation of the area that we searched as well as what we found.
Okay. And that on the July 14th, 2021 search?
Correct.
And do those appear to be true and accurate photos of that, what you saw that day?
Yes.
Okay. At this time, I would move exhibit 125 through, you got these all out of order for me, 131.
No objection. No objection.
Okay,
They are received
now,
into evidence.
Let's put them in order.
There you go.
Okay.
This is the cop that found the mom's remains.
I'm giving you one of these booklets. I want you to just compare and make sure that the 125 here is what is 125 in the booklet.
To the best of my knowledge, it is, yes.
Okay, and let's continue on.
Same thing for 126. 127 looks to be correct. 128 looks to be correct. 129 looks to be correct. 130 looks to be correct. 131 looks to be correct.
Okay. At this time, Your Honor, I would ask to distribute booklets containing exhibits 125 through 131 to each member of the.
Folks, we are doing this, I should say the state is doing this in a slightly different procedure than other exhibits. And obviously, as you may gather, similarly to the presentation yesterday, I think the state intends to demonstrate a step-by-step look of the discovery, culminating in what was discovered, which of course becomes the most or more sensitive or disturbing of the photos. You'll have these in front of you instead of on the screen. The same admonition that I gave yesterday applies today. You have to be able to have said you saw it, but whether you then look away, close the booklet, look at the picture, examine, that's solely up to your discretion as a juror. I will only say this, don't turn ahead. And if you are going to engage in a closing of the booklet and then reopening to the next page, just make sure your hand stays in the proper place so that you know that I have to turn one more page and that you're not stumbling or going ahead, because I believe the state does want to present these to you in the order prepared in the booklet. You won't be keeping the booklets, they'll be returned when we're finished with this exhibit. But we're anticipating that this is an alternate method of showing things to you that we're going to attempt at this time. Go right ahead.
Yes, should allow for more detailed observation. The exhibit number is in the lower right-hand corner. If you would take one and pass them on.
Whenever you're ready, counsel. Or did you want, were you going to take full? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
If I look up, I'll actually see that we're still distributing. Thanks. Go right ahead.
All right. Warden, I would ask that you look at exhibit 125, and could you explain to the jury what picture 125 is of?
The picture 125 is an aerial photo of, on the center of it, you can see where the body parts are located that myself and Kevin Gruber, who were part of the search party, the larger group of it, there's still another piece of human remains that were found that would be you're looking at the picture, if you look above it, you see a gap. It would be to the right of that, somewhere in that area. But this is the largest grouping, that red spot that you see.
And at this point, what did you think that red area was? Did you know when you first began?
Yes, when I approached it, I saw toes and a foot and part of a leg and so on. So I knew I had found human remains at that point.
Okay. Let's turn the page to Exhibit 126. Could you please describe for the jury what 126 displays?
Same thing as I had described before.
So again, the search area.
Correct. The search area, what we had located, and maybe a little bit of better definition, a different angle for sure. And this obviously just a little bit shortly after we had located the parts.
Okay. And let's flip the page to page 127. What area in Exhibit 127 is the remains, or how would you describe it?
Where you see the person wearing blue at the bottom of the photograph, kind of towards the center of it. If you go up on the page, you see a green tree, and then above that you see, I'd say it looks red in the photograph. You can see an outline, or you can see a human leg in there.
Okay. And let's flip to page 128. How would you describe Exhibit 128?
What I had found for human remains.
Okay, just a closer up view.
Correct.
And at this point, did you think it was one leg, two legs, something else?
I didn't stick around long enough to figure it out.
Sure. And why was that?
Because it's gross.
Fair enough. You called the medical examiner.
Correct. I had notified the sheriff's office what I had located, and it's theirs to take over from that point.
Sure. Exhibit 129, is that just a further zoomed in view?
Correct.
Turning to Exhibit 130, is that the general area of the location?
Yeah, it looks to be, a lot of the riverway down there looks very similar to that, but you can see kind of you can see that piece of sand out there. That's very consistent with that portion of the island out there.
All right. And then flipping finally to Exhibit 131. We have a picture of a singular tree.
Mm-hmm.
Now in the background of Exhibit 131, there's a white tent. What is the white tent?
The white tent is where the human remains were located.
Okay.
Hi. I wanted to say hi to Kimmy that just came in.
And now I'm going to, at some point during this investigation where you showed pictures of a young man hanging from a tree.
I at least remember him being next to the tree, I think with his foot up next to it, yes.
Okay. Fair enough. I'm going to show you what we've previously seen as Exhibits 123 and 124. Are one or both of those the pictures that you were shown in the course of this investigation of this tree?
Picture 123 is yes. I do not recall 124.
Okay, fair enough. So picture 123, the one leg up.
Mm-hmm.
And in looking around that area, did you recognize this location?
Yeah, it appeared to be closer to the river from where we had been located at, where we had found the human remains.
Okay. And you found a tree that at least looked consistent with the tree pictured in Exhibit 123?
Yes, I was a forestry major at UW Stevens Point, so I've been around trees a little bit, and I was able to look at the photograph and figure out it was an elm tree, or at least appeared to be an elm tree. And then there's a dot or a knob on the bottom of the tree that's very consistent with the photograph that you just showed me there.
Warden, I just have one or two basic questions about.
She's calling him a warden. Does that mean he's a game warden? That's what I was thinking. Hey, Sheriff.
Oh, well, that white tent area, the place where the human remains were found, how far away is it from that tree? Roughly.
Roughly, I'd say approximately 100, maybe 120 yards.
Okay. Does the DNR have a dive team?
No.
Does the DNR ever have civilians participate in searches in the water and in a diving capacity?
I don't know.
Okay. No further questions.
Cross-examination.
Good afternoon, Warden. I heard you use the word consistent when describing the tree in the photograph with the man and the tree that you found on the banks of the Wisconsin River. Is that right?
Yes.
So it's fair to assume that your testimony isn't that it is absolutely the same tree. Your testimony is that it's consistent.
It looks to be the same tree to me.
But you used the word consistent, correct?
If that's what you're saying, then I probably did, yes.
You don't know for certain that that's the same tree.
I can't say for certain that it's the same tree, but it looks to me like it is the same tree.
Now can you say that that photograph was very close in time to when you saw the tree?
Which photograph are you talking about?
The photograph of the young man that you compared to the trees in the area.
I don't know when that photograph was taken. I think I had been told maybe it was like a year before, but I don't recall for sure.
So your information as to when that photograph was taken comes from what you were told, not in your tree analysis skills, correct?
Can you repeat that question, please?
Sure. The tree that you found that's consistent to the tree in the photograph, you don't know whether that photograph was taken the same year as you found that tree or a different year that you found the tree based on what you were able to observe on the tree that you found, correct?
Correct. Their trees don't have dates on them. I would not be able to see exactly when the picture was to everything else. So yeah, no.
Thank you.
Trees don't have dates on
No,
them?
Your Honor.
May this
Trees don't have dates on. He was kind of he didn't like her. he didn't like being questioned.
witness be excused and released?
He may. And would you like me to collect? Good afternoon. Could you please state your name and spell both your first and last name for the record?
Kevin Gruber, Kevin Gruber.
How are you employed?
I work full-time for the city of Middleton as a paramedic, and I work part-time for the Dane County Sheriff's Office Tactical Response Team as a medic for them.
It's tree gate,
Okay.
Sharon.
And working in your capacity as part of the Tactical Response Team as a medic on July 14th of 2021.
Yes, I believe that's the date.
And on that day, did you participate in a search near the Roxbury area?
Yes.
How would you describe that search? How many coworkers were out there and what were you guys tasked with?
So the entire team was tasked that day with a search of that wooded area. There's roughly 30 people on our team with the other medics and the rest of the sheriff's deputies. And that morning there were some additional personnel too. I don't know if there were other sheriff's deputies from other counties, but there was some DNR wardens there as well to help with that search.
And I mean, how did this search occur? Did you guys walk arm in arm, spread out, something different?
So in the morning, everybody that was involved that day kind of gathered in that area, and then we were briefed on what we were going to be doing that day, and they kind of instructed us to break down into some smaller groups or teams, and then methodically search this wooded area that they wanted us to look for any sort of evidence that could pertain to this case.
And you described it as a wooded area. So trees, was the grass short, high, something else?
Yeah, there's lots of trees. It's right off of the Wisconsin River, so there's plenty of water around too, little pockets of ponds and stuff like that. I don't think the grass was really too long that day, but plenty wooded, yes.
I'm about to approach you and I'm going to show you exhibits 132 through 138. Because these are kind of detailed photos, we're going to end up giving the jury these little booklets. So I'm not only going to ask you to describe the photos, I'm going to ask you to tell me whether or not these booklets are the same as these photos. So if you just want to look briefly and maybe give one sentence as a group as to what 132 through 138 describe.
So there are photos of what we found that day when we were doing our woods searching.
Okay, and do they appear to be true and accurate depictions of what you observed that day?
That is what I observed that day, yes.
I would move exhibits 132 through 138 into evidence at this time.
Any objection?
No objection.
They are received.
All right, now I will move the pictures, but I'd like you to compare. The picture is 132 that I'm showing you, the same as 132 in the. And I have them backwards.
Yes, you're talking three different
133, the same?
It is.
Yeah, so there's three different locations. They found the dad at the farm that was his girlfriend's mother's friend. They found the mom at his old swimming hole that he used to go with a bunch of friends. And then they also found some remains at the house, which I think when they say they found him at the house, I think what they're talking about is what he tried to burn in the fireplace. There were still some things that didn't get burned, and yet they were in the, what do they call that? The grill or the filter of the fireplace where they catch all the stuff.
134,
Yes.
135,
Yes.
136,
Yes.
137,
Yes.
and finally 138.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so I will let you have these, and I will pass out exhibits for the jury.
Naturally, folks, the same
And
advisement and admonition
Half here, and
applies
I'll
to
start
these
halfing back up here.
Who's she talking
Everybody
about,
get
Judge?
one? All right. So, Mr. Gruber, could you please describe exhibit 132 to the jury?
This is a picture of the grassy wooded area, the area that we were searching that day along the Wisconsin River.
Okay. And why don't we move on to exhibit 133? What are we looking at here?
This looks like the area where we found the stuff in the pictures. It's maybe like the first part of where we initially found the stuff in the pictures.
And did you first see what you found, smell it, or something else?
My first indication in the area was the smell.
Okay.
Casey, yeah, so they think that he did that part that you're talking about in the basement area because that's where they had the big luminol of blood that was found.
Let's turn to exhibit 134.
So did he lure
How
him
would you
down to the
describe
basement?
exhibit 134?
I don't know.
This is just a kind of a different view of, there was almost a little separation between the two different places where we found the stuff that we were looking for.
All right. Exhibit 135.
So this is a closer up picture of the first item that we found that was in that area that day.
Okay. And turn the page to 136.
And this is a close-up picture of the kind of the second items that we found that day searching that wooded area.
What was the difference, if any, between what you found in exhibit 135 and exhibit 136?
A rough estimate of maybe 30 yards.
Okay.
Yes, somewhere in here, one of them says something about how much heat is required to do. I can't think of the word, guys. I don't know why I'm trying to say reincarnation, but it's not that. It's when they burn. Why can't I think of this word? Why do I lose my words when I get on YouTube and I get the mic on? What is wrong with me? Cremation. Thank you. I don't know if y'all said that, but it just came to my head. Cremation. Like the heat that they require in those things is like an amazing amount. And apparently, somewhere in here they say it, but I don't know where exactly they say it. They may have already said it.
All right, let's turn to 137. Is that the same thing that we were looking at in Exhibit 135?
Correct.
And again, 138, just a different view.
Correct.
What did you do once you and your team had found these parts?
So we were, as we're searching the wooded areas, we're spread out to cover more ground, but, within sight of each other and making sure that we're, doing the methodical search. Once we encountered these and decided that it was not, that it was maybe something of interest, then I immediately called our team commander and alerted him that there was something here that the detectives should probably come take a look at. So then we kind of just stopped so we didn't disturb the area anymore and had more people come down to take over.
And were you part of the team that marked the area with flags or no?
I don't remember whose idea that was, but there was kind of this path along the wooded area that was easier to get in and out of instead of walking around. So we did a couple of us put some flags in to mark an area that we all came in at the same point.
And is that an attempt to disrupt the scene as little as possible?
That was our thoughts, yeah.
Okay. And how would you describe what you found?
Initially, there was, the smell of it. And then as we got closer, we'll use picture 137. That morning when we were told to go search, we weren't given specifics as to what we were searching for, just anything of interest. It being a wooded area, it was not immediately apparent what that would have been. A smaller piece. So that's when another member that was out searching kind of went closer. And at first we couldn't quite determine what that piece was because it was separated from the picture in, it was like 30 yards, I said, from 136. We didn't see that first. We saw first in the 137. So it wasn't immediately apparent what it was until we found the other piece that was more apparent as to what that would be.
And what do you believe it was?
Body parts. Okay. Looks like a foot and a leg.
Okay. No further questions.
Cross-examination.
No, thank you, Your Honor.
May this witness be excused and released from his subpoena.
Yes and yes.
Thank you so much, sir. I'll take.
And Deputy, this is the first time you're testifying in this trial, right?
Share what you put on here. I can't even put it up on the screen. Reread what you just wrote.
Correct.
But not the last.
Correct.
Okay, so I would ask you to state both your first and last name for the record and spell both.
James Plenty, James, Plenty, Plenty.
How are you employed?
Employed with the Dane County Sheriff's Office as a deputy sheriff.
And were you employed as such on July 14th of 2021?
Correct.
And on that day, were you assigned to a search or to assist with the search in the Roxbury area in Dane County?
Correct.
And at some point, some body parts are found. Is that fair?
Yes.
Okay. How would you describe what was found?
On this DNR property in the township of Roxbury, it was discovered that there was in one location 3 items that were all in the exact same location, probably touching each other. One appeared to be a right leg from the foot all the way up to near where the hip socket would be on that leg. The other 2, one was a left foot that was severed just above the ankle, and the other item I wasn't able to identify what it was, but later was identified as being the upper thigh.
And were you part of the process of collecting these remains that were found on that DNR land?
I was present and I had taken photo documentation of those items as that happened.
Can you describe the process? How were they collected?
The medical examiner's office had completed the collection of them. It was an individual from the ME's office, an investigator, along with Dr. Rogalska. that had done the collection. The items were collected and placed into a body bag and then sealed.
Okay. And then somebody from your department remained with those remains until they were arrived at the ME's office?
I had stayed on scene to continue to document, so I wasn't part of that.
But generally, that's the practice, is that somebody from your department maintains and goes to the ME's office.
I'm not sure if we would do that all the time.
Okay, all right.
But it would be sealed, and the ME's office would have custody of remains from any type of scene.
Absolutely, along with the crime scene unit that would have gone and documented the scene. And you were part of that crime scene unit of taking photos in this case?
Correct.
Okay. Nothing further.
Cross-examination.
No, thank you.
May this witness be excused for today?
You may approach.
Yes, I understand you. Can I let him go?
Yeah, just today, yes.
Pardon?
Yes.
I understand you are still under subpoena, but you're excused for today, sir. Thank you very much.
You young man should be ashamed of yourself.
Attorney
Look at
Raymond
him.
mentioned final witness, and I'm not going to make her a liar to you. We're going to have one more piece of information or evidence submitted to you at this time. And again, it is through stipulation of the parties. As I told you a day or two ago, when the attorneys and or defendant agree to certain facts and stipulate to the same, these are provided to you, and you must take these as being true. So in this case, the district attorney and defendant's attorney have stipulated to the following. The human remains consisting of a male torso located at the Earlywine Road property on July 8, 2021 is Bart Halderson. The DNA sample taken from the torso by the Dane County Medical Examiner and transported to the Wisconsin State Crime Laboratory, labeled as item B, is a true and accurate standard of Bart Halderson's blood and DNA. Item 3, the human remains consisting of 2 female legs located on the town of Roxbury, Wisconsin River property on July 14, 2021 is Krista Halderson. The DNA sample taken from the legs by the Dane County Medical Examiner and transported to the Wisconsin State Crime Lab, labeled as item K1, small letter A, as well as the toothbrush head labeled as item capital letter I1, are true and accurate standards of Krista Halderson's DNA.
Oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this point in time, we are going to be adjourning for the weekend. I come from a fairly large family, and we always do our Christmas celebration the weekend or two after Christmas, so nobody has to be out of their homes.
What days?
I come time. So obviously I'm not telling you what to do with the time you're away from here, but keep that in the back of your mind and do stay healthy and take every step that you can to remain healthy. At the same time, as I've said every evening, rest. As I've said as well, place everything out of your mind and do not think about, discuss, investigate, research, or inadvertently become exposed to any media source, news, television, electronic, or discussions with others about this case. You have been incredible during this week, and I appreciate so much your time. I believe that counsel tells me that from the state's perspective in presenting its case in chief, we are on track, and I appreciate their efforts in that as well. There's a lot to do next week, so do get a good rest, and do please take the best care you can of yourselves, and don't take any steps or allow anything to happen to you, either as far as your health.
Good morning. Please state and spell your name for us.
Good morning. My name is Jessamy Torres, spelled Jessamy. Torres is Torres.
And what do you do for a living?
I'm a lieutenant with the Dane County Sheriff's Office.
Could you tell us what the role of a lieutenant is, and perhaps in contrast to, we've already heard from maybe some deputies and some detectives. What is a lieutenant?
So a lieutenant is a supervisor over the deputy sergeants. Them in any way that I can.
Regarding a few days of a search of the Irwin Road property here in Dane County.
Yes, I was.
And was that in relation to the homicides of Bart and Krista Halderson?
Yes.
What was your role as one of these people out there who is maybe higher ranking? What was your role on the property?
Well, so I was out there 2 different days, and my role was just kind of to be the overall supervisor of the scene. Both days that I was present at the Irwin Road property, I primarily interacted with the property owners. They were very distraught and emotional. So I spent a lot of the majority of my time talking with them and trying to keep them calm so that the detectives and the deputies on scene could do their jobs.
So while we're going to hear probably a lot today from people who found things on the property, you weren't one of those people out physically digging through things most of the time?
Most of the time, correct.
Okay. What days, first of all, let's start with, I think Detective Baverstock testified that the torso was found on the 8th. How long was the property kept, and when was it finally released back to Cress as out of the custody of the Dane County Sheriff's Department?
So we turned the property back over to Cress on Monday, July 12th.
Okay, so it was the 8th, the 9th, the 10th, the 11th, and the 12th. At some points those days, the Sheriff's Department was out there from the finding of the torso to the release. It was within your purview or within your custody?
Yes.
Okay. And the property itself, could you describe the general property for us? I think the jury's seen pictures, but what was your view of the property?
So it was a rural property. There was a main residential building. There was an outbuilding, which would be best described as a large barn. There was a smaller outbuilding that held chickens. And then the property consisted of acreage, I would estimate, I don't know the exact number, but maybe 30 to 35 acres of varying topographical design. There was a large field with overgrowth that was maybe 12, 15 acres. And then surrounding that was wooded property.
And if we look at this map, which has been admitted into evidence as exhibit number 57, when you talk about the field that was overgrowth, are you talking about this part of the image that's on the right side?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry. Yes.
I think you said you were out there for 2 days. Were there 2 main days of searches after the initial finding of things, the day of the torso and the garbage?
Thank you, Miss Casey, for gifting a membership. I appreciate you. Who got it?
And things of that sort on the 8th?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Sure. After the torso and the garbage bin were found by Detective Baverstock on the 8th, were there 2 primary days of searching that occurred after that you were involved in?
Yes, 2 days that I was involved in. Saturday, July 10th in the morning, and then Monday, July 12th in the morning.
And could you give us let's start with, I suppose, just because we talked about it, the field. Was that field search, that grassy field?
How did we go about doing that? Sorry. Well, can I ask when this picture was taken?
Sure. This was, and those are law enforcement vehicles out there. So sometime later, but while law enforcement was out there.
So the one field, I had actually spoke with Cress about it. She was letting it grow natural to try and bring back bee populations. So there was a large portion that had, I would say, need to waist high natural growth. There was some small shrubberies, there was thorns, there was tall grass. So on Saturday, July 10th was when we did a line search of that area.
And what do you mean by a line search?
So everyone that was there to assist that day, we briefed ahead of time out in the field near this barn. And then what we did was we lined up. We tried to maintain an equal distance amongst each officer, not too far, but not too close. And then we just systematically started at one end and walked in a line down till we got to the other end. If anyone saw anything that was of interest, they would say stop, and we'd all stop. If the line ever kind of got off canter where one side was, we would stop and reline up. And so we'd keep walking till we got to the end, kind of turn the line, rotate the line around where the last person was, and go back up.
Based on what you know or any of your knowledge, was anything of evidentiary value found in that big field?
No.
Going to maybe more the wood portion, were the woods searched to the extent you could?
Yes, it was my understanding that the woods had been searched prior, that there had been detectives that had gone through there. But we also did, as we searched the field part, we also made our line kind of overlap with the wooded part, you know, and it was common to, when we would turn overlap, have someone overlap the last where the end person had gone, to make sure that we aren't potentially missing anything.
Okay. And absent what Detective Baberstock and the other detectives have maybe talked about finding the first day on the 8th, was anything found in the woods in your line search?
No, not on the day that I was there.
Okay. Now, there was a residence, a house on this property, correct?
Yes, sir.
Was that home searched at some point?
Yes.
Tell me about that.
So that home was also searched on Monday, July 12th.
And the homeowner, was the homeowner there, Cress?
Yes, Cress was.
Okay. And was anything of evidentiary value related ultimately to the case found in the house?
No, no items of evidence were collected other than photographic evidence.
Sure. The driveway leading all the way through, I know it looked like a long, windy driveway down to the road. Was that area in general searched?
Yes, that would have been on Saturday, the 10th, when we did the land and the property search. We also covered that the land all the way down to the road, and we even walked along the roadway.
And I think we'll hear from that deputy later, but it'd be fair to say something of evidentiary value was found in that driveway up to the road search, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now there's a shed, a barn on this property. Was that barn searched?
Yes, it was.
Can you tell me, based on what you know, how many folks were searching it and maybe how they go about something like that?
So on Monday, July 12th, there was 6, myself, and then 6 deputies, well, 2 deputies and 4 detectives. So we briefed ahead of time, and the way that barn was searched was all 6 went in. I was in and out, you know, asking if there's anything I could do to help or assist, but then also back at the residence with Cress. But the way the search was completed, as any search that I've been involved with, everyone coordinates and talks amongst themselves, and we'll start in an area and communicate with their partners. I'll start here, you start here, we'll meet in the middle, and they just kind of systematically go through the building, doing their best to cover searching every area that they can.
Can you describe this barn?
Yes, it was a large barn. I don't know the exact dimensions, but I would say it could probably have fit in maybe 12 cars. Inside the barn, there was a SUV parked. There were 2 tractors, the ones that have kind of a single seat tractor, farm tractor. There was also a workbench area. There was a lot of tools. In the center of the barn, there was piled high, you know, various boxes and Tupperware containers, not Tupperware. What's the word I'm looking for? You know, the plastic boxes like you put your decorations in. And then there was also some high shelving along that had things stored there. A lot of old dusty tools.
Okay. And I think you mentioned that, the property released back to Cress on the 12th?
Yes.
When you left on the 12th, were you comfortable with the property had been searched at that time and giving it back to the homeowner?
Yes, I was comfortable that we'd done the best that we could. And had there been any question about, for me, whether we should stay longer, I would have told Cress we're going to stay longer.
Sure. At that stage in the investigation, were there other areas that needed to be searched by maybe even some of the same sheriff's deputies that were there?
Yes.
Just in general, what types of areas were you aware of that ultimately had to be searched?
My understanding, in addition to that property on Early Wind, there was the primary residence. There was some wooded DNR land. There was waterways. And then there was also a large landfill.
Sure. Were you later made aware a couple months after your search that the homeowner found a rifle in that barn?
Yes, I was.
And possible you missed it in the original search?
Yes.
Any explanation or what could you say about that?
What I could say about that is that I'm confident that the detectives and the deputies I was supervising that day were doing the best they could. It was a vast property. There was a lot of items in there. And If it was missed during our search, it was oversight or human error.
Sure. Sometimes searches aren't 100% effective.
I say we always do the best we can, but it would be naive to say we get 100% every time. You know, we try our best.
So basically, Crest, the owner of the property, found the gun later on. I don't know how much later on. It was maybe a month. I don't know if it was even that long. But you'll listen how the prosecution drills, or not the prosecution. The defense, of course, is going to jump on that.
No further questions.
Cross-examination.
Yes, thank you. Lieutenant Torres, from July 8th to July 12th, I believe that's when you said that the property was under your custody or Dane County Sheriff's custody. Is that correct?
To the best of my understanding, I wasn't there when the scene was initiated. So my only involvement with the case was on the July 10th and July 12th.
As your role as lieutenant, would you be able to know if the property was under, well, let me backtrack. So we learned earlier last week that during the search of the Oak Springs location, there was constantly someone from law enforcement that was guarding that location. Are you aware if that same thing happened here in the Erwin location?
I'm not familiar with the location that you just referenced, but what I can say is the Erwin location from when the, official word was that we were guarding it as a crime scene. We staffed a deputy there 24/7.
So it was constantly being looked at from the time you determined it was a crime scene to the time you released it on the 12th.
Yes, I can say we constantly had a deputy there.
And your role in lieutenant, if something was found, something of evidentiary value was found in that location, were you informed of that?
At that time?
Yes.
Yes. The only item of evidentiary value that was collected either of the 2 days would have been on Saturday, the 10th, by Detective Dan Feeney.
Okay. Now, drawing your attention to the search of the barn, it's been called a barn or a shed. You said you were there that day, correct?
I was, yes.
Approximately how many hours were devoted to searching this barn?
I can't say for certain how many hours we were in the barn, but we arrived at that property probably about 8 a.m. And I believe the time that we all left, that the last law enforcement left, was about 11:30.
So 8 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. or p.m.?
A.m.
Okay. And could you describe a little bit more about how the search in the barn was conducted? You told us earlier about a line search and kind of gave us a detailed explanation on how that was conducted. Could you do something like that for the search of the barn?
Sure. So whenever deputies and detectives have to search a big building like that, they coordinate amongst themselves and they walk in and they communicate with each other. I'll start here, you start there, we'll meet in the middle, for example. So under that day, again, I was in and out, so I wasn't directly watching everyone that was searching the entire time. But I do know, and I did observe the deputies and detectives communicating in that typical way of, I've searched this area. Okay, now this is the area we have to do next, and moving through the building like that.
And then did you feel like a thorough search of that barn was conducted that day?
That day and that time, I felt as though we had done the best that we could to find evidence.
So then later that day on the 12th was when the property was released back to the property owner, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And nothing of evidentiary value was located in that property until later in October, I believe, correct?
That's my understanding, but I was not involved in the case after July 12th.
Okay. I have no further questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any
One moment, Judge. Sure.
Angsball said, Jeffrey, based on your last comment, I think you're muted. Did we hear any of that? We didn't hear any of that. That's awesome. You guys are hilarious. Yeah, I did a thing on the Highland Park attacker this morning because I was watching that Zoom of this trial. And like as soon as the judge called it, I was like, boom. And I got on and I did a quick thing, a quick live. Or not, it wasn't a live, a quick recording. And I put it out there. But I hope they let that case. I don't think they're going to show the case, though. I don't think it's going to be in public. So it's going to be one of those where we just have to follow along.
Sounds good.
Nothing further. The witness will be released, but remaining under subpoena.
Oh, so you're excused, but you remain under
Yes.
subpoena and are not released yet from your subpoena. So don't talk about the case, but you are free to go. And thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Good morning. Could you please state your name for the record, spelling both your first and last names?
Deputy Eric Schneider, ERIKSCHNEIDER.
Guy's got such a deep voice.
How are you employed?
I'm employed with the Dane County Sheriff's Office as a patrol deputy out of the Southeast Precinct and a member of the Dane County Sheriff's Office Crime Scene Unit.
Tell me about that. What does that mean, that you're a member of the Dane County Sheriff's Crime Scene Unit?
My full-time position is patrol, but we also have some people that assist the two primary crime scene unit deputies, Greg Leatherberry and Jim Plenty. So if they are unavailable or there's a particularly large or complicated scene, I will come out and I will work with them.
Have you gone through any training to become part of the crime scene unit?
I have.
Can you just briefly describe that for the jury?
There's a state crime lab evidence school that I attended, a 5-day week-long school. There's an additional state lab photography course. I've done additional training, a buried body course that we put on ourselves. Off the top of my head, that's additional training.
And as part of that training, learning how to collect items of evidence in a way that is both safe but also preserves the evidence.
Yes.
All right, I think I will ask you a little bit about that individually. I'm now going to approach you with some photos, exhibit 144 through 157. In this case in particular, one of the ways in which you worked as a crime scene unit deputy was at the Irwin property.
Yes.
Could you just briefly look through exhibits 144 through 157? And as a group, would you describe exhibits 144 through 157 as photographs of the Irwin Road property during the search?
Yes.
Or at least some of them?
Yes.
There's many more. Do they appear to be true and accurate photographs?
Yes.
I would move 144 through 157 into evidence at this time.
No objection.
Thank you. They are received.
Jeffrey, I hope the hazing didn't scare you away, honey. It's just their way of saying hello.
And I will leave them up here in case you need to reference them. But what I'm going to play on the screen will also show up on your little screen. So how would you describe exhibit 108 on your screen? Oh, I'm sorry, Judge.
The property in question had a large barn or a shed. The immediate area around it was mowed, and beyond that was a large area of like prairie and a wood line. This is a section of the mowed grass butting up against that prairie to the south of the barn.
And do you see an oil drum in that photograph?
Yes.
How would you describe exhibit 109?
There was a cut, like you see there, an odd-shaped cut on the north side of that oil drum, and inside were some items.
And 110 shows some of those items inside.
Yes, a saw blade, a scissors, and a smaller saw with like a chrome or a metal handle, and a bolt cutters.
All right, and that's 112.
Or shears, yes.
All right, how did you package these various items? So let's start first with 139, which is the pruning shears. How did you collect and package them?
So at that time, I had CSI Greg Leatherberry with me. He made a determination we're going to remove the items. And it just so happened that my arm span was long enough that I could reach them because they were deep inside the oil drum. So just using regular nitrile evidence gloves, I reached in, I was able to pull them out one at a time without touching areas that looked like they had stains. We laid them out on paper, and then CSI Leatherberry collected them in whatever packaging he used.
And why do you wear gloves?
To preserve the evidence, to keep it from either losing evidence or us from contaminating it.
And do you change your gloves in between touching different items?
Depending, yes.
And every time, well, I'm going to approach you now with Exhibit 139. These are the pruning shears. Yep. Okay.
So it took forever for them to go through him opening everything up. So
And Exhibit 139 has various stickers on it. Are some of those stickers, though, identification stickers from your office?
Yes.
And why is that done?
Anything that is taken and put into evidence will have a unique tag number cataloging it.
Okay. This appears to have all the correct stickers.
It does.
I'm going to ask you to open Exhibit 139. There. So. And Deputy, and you're going to write a report after testifying here today. Is that fair? Because you are opening up evidence?
Yes.
And why do you do that?
It's just to preserve the chain of custody.
So anytime anybody opens up a box or an envelope that has evidence tape on it, a report is written about that encounter with the evidence.
Yes.
Hey, Judy. Judy, I wanted to say thank you so much for becoming a high-level member. I appreciate you so much. That was like, I was like, wow, when I saw that. Whoa.
There's also a little knife if you prefer that.
Would this be a good point for the stipulation on chain of custody?
Yes, that's fine.
As the deputy is opening this item of evidence, with regard to much of the physical evidence here, the parties have entered into a stipulation, which I'll read to you at this time. Once again, in this case, the district attorney and defendant's attorneys have stipulated to the following facts. Throughout the investigation into the deaths of Bart and Krista Halderson, many pieces of evidence were collected from the Halderson home, the Earlywine Road property, and the Roxbury, Wisconsin River land. These items of evidence were securely transported to various locations, including the medical examiner's office, the crime lab, to police evidence lockers, and ultimately to the courtroom. In some cases, there is a dispute that the evidence was not handled correctly, or that there is some dispute to the authenticity of the evidence. That is not the case here. The parties stipulate no dispute to the chain of custody or authenticity of these items of evidence. The parties stipulate these items have remained in secure custody since being collected by police and have not been tampered with or altered in any way outside of the testing performed by the experts involved in this case. These items of evidence include the following. Number one, the human remains located at Earlywine Road and in the town of Roxbury. Number two, all items collected from the Earlywine Road property. Number three, all items collected from the Halderson home in Windsor, Wisconsin. Number four, all items of evidence tested by the Wisconsin State Crime Lab for DNA, fingerprints, footwear impressions, ballistics, and trace fit testing. And finally, number five, all swabs of purported DNA and blood, including the DNA sample taken from Chandler Halderson and Mitchell Halderson. Go ahead.
Deputy, could you please describe Exhibit 139? You can unwrap it further if you need to.
Do you want me to remove it from the ties as well?
Why don't you just describe it first?
The item in question is the large pruning shears, I guess they are, with red paint on the handle.
And do those appear to be the same or in substantially the same condition as when you retrieved them from the Irwin Road property?
Yes.
At this time, I would move Exhibit 139 into evidence.
No objection.
It is received. It may be published.
He used the pruning
connected to
shears
the
on
box
his
or just,
parents.
Deputy, why don't
Can
you
you
pick those
imagine?
up out of the box? Watch your step, but walk them in front of the jury, please. If you want to put them back in the box.
And the way it's like he's obsessed with blood and stuff, so maybe he enjoyed it. Night, Bob Kitten. Hope you feel better, honey.
And Deputy, I'm now approaching you with what has been marked as Exhibit 140. Could you please open up Exhibit 140? Okay. How would you describe Exhibit 140?
Exhibit 140 is the smaller saw that we saw in the picture of the oil drum with the chrome colored handle.
And is it in substantially the same condition as when you collected it?
Yes.
At this time, I would move Exhibit 140 into evidence.
No objection.
It is received.
And I would ask that you repeat the same procedure and show the jury.
It's still tied in. Would you like me to remove it all the way?
Yeah, if it's not too difficult.
Bobby says, I heard Chandler was a big cut up in
Raymond,
a big
I wonder
cut
if
up
we
in
move
high
the water
school.
Picture, if it might give the deputy a little more room.
Oh, absolutely.
Are you being facetious, Bobby, or are you being serious? Oh, Lenny, that movie was crazy.
And if you want to place that one back in the box, 140.
It's a Brooksaholics, not a Carryaholics. Judy?
And I'll give you a minute to change your gloves.
It's the pain meds.
Here's a waste can.
Yeah, this is the way a
Now
trial
I'm going
really
to show
should
you
be
what has been
run.
marked as
Coffee.
Exhibit 141. Could you
Oh,
please
okay.
open up the box and tell us what 141 is?
Oh, I didn't get it.
Exhibit
Oh,
141 is the broken saw blade from that oil drum that we saw in the picture.
I'm
And
a
is it
blonde.
in the same or substantially the same condition as when you collected it?
Yes.
I would move Exhibit 141 into evidence at this time.
No objection.
It is received.
I think this one could probably stay in the box, but do you want to display that to the jury, please?
That's a
Could
good
you
one,
please
Bobby.
open Exhibit 142?
You don't have to spell it out for me. I know. Now I get it. It just took me a minute.
And how
How
would
do
you
you get it
describe
either?
Exhibit 142?
Exhibit 142 is the scissors with the red handle from inside the drum.
Are they in the same or substantially the same condition as when you collected them?
They are.
I would ask to move 142 into evidence at this time.
No objection.
It is received.
And again, will you display for the jury?
See, I didn't think Saw. Well, I guess it is pretty. It's the movies, the Saw movies, they are pretty graphic, aren't they? But what it's the thriller part of it that gets me in the Saw movies. It's like the way the twists and turns in it all. That's what I find so good about it.
Deputy, did you participate at any point in the search of the barn or shed, as it's been called, on the Irwin Road property?
Yes.
And would you describe Exhibit 144 as displayed on your screen?
Exhibit 144 is the large barn or shed in question that you're talking about.
And Exhibit 145, what does it display?
Interior of the barn.
There's lots of stuff in the barn.
There is a lot of stuff in the barn.
Exhibit 146, what does 146 display?
146 is probably the eastern portion of the barn. The two entrances face north-south to the barn. So if you're coming in from the north, which faces the house, to your left would be this area.
Still a lot of crap in
And
there.
147, what is that display?
147 is a silver gray colored tarp that was located, I believe the night of the 8th when the first night we were at the property.
So that was the night that the torso was discovered?
Correct.
And is it fair to say this was found during like a cursory search of the barn?
Yes, while we were waiting for the search warrant to be finalized, we had the medical examiner's office out there, and the director, Erman, had his canine. So while we were waiting, we thought we would utilize the canine while we had it to see if it could find anything, and it led us directly to that tarp.
And of course, at this point, Crest had given you folks permission to be on your property and search. All right. 148, what is that display?
That is the same tarp after we removed it from where we located it.
Let me just go back and ask you one question. The dog that medical director Erman had, was that a cadaver canine dog?
I believe his is, yes.
149, what is displayed on exhibit 149?
The same tarp, just from a different, you can see the beginning of some red staining there.
150?
We're starting to slowly unfold it. And again, more red staining. So I think at that point or shortly thereafter, we stop because we believe it has evidentiary value and wouldn't want to ruin it or contaminate it on scene.
So why did you stop?
That should be something that's processed in a more controlled environment. We had a lot going on there, so we weren't going to unravel that in the middle of a dirt floor and begin processing it there. That's something that'll be done later in a lab.
Sure. So it was sent to the Wisconsin State Crime Lab?
I believe that one was.
Okay. And I'm actually just going to touch the bag. So.
Yeah. Well, because Florida
Deputy,
and
I'm going to show you what has been marked as exhibit 143.
it's because Florida and Wisconsin show the cases on TV. That's why.
There are various stickers. Are there stickers on exhibit 143 from your office?
Yes.
And do any of those stickers tell you what is inside of exhibit 143?
Yes.
Okay. And do those all appear to be in order?
They do.
At this time, I would move exhibit 143 into evidence.
No objection.
It is received.
And we are not going to open 143 at this time.
They already came back and said Chandler's appeal is not going to go through. Didn't he say there was no merit on it already?
And Deputy, were you made aware in October of 2021 that after the sheriff's office had finished
This is not my
side.
Their coverage is not me.
There's a large trailer, and around it you can just see all kinds of various items and clutter.
153?
No, she's in Florida.
Northwest corner of the barn, large number of tools and.
What happened? What happened? Hang on. It kicked us out. It took out my video. Hang on, I got to pull it back up again. No, Suitcase Sarah is in, she's in Florida. In Central Florida. Hang on, I'm going to try to get right back where we were at the same spot. Roughly.
Looking back, and you can see the second trailer more clearly, and just a lot of piles of wood and debris.
Exhibit 70.
This was taken in October after the owner had been clearing out the barn. Objects were removed, and you can see there is now a black rifle propped up.
That's so apparently this is Court TV's feed that keeps messing up. It's not me, just so y'all know. I mean, I did lose the stream there for a minute, but that was a totally different issue. Yeah, the YouTube
The
subscription.
middle.
I got that too. It's worth it.
Exhibit 71.
Hey, Debbie.
Just a closer view of the rifle.
And that rifle, is it your understanding that that rifle was found behind some boards?
Yes.
172. Or I'm sorry, 72.
Just another closer view of the rifle. I just took overall and photographs and continuing all the way up to the rifle itself.
And what is picture 73 a picture of?
A close-up of the rifle, which shows the serial number on the upper portion.
Deputy, I'm going to show you what has been marked as Exhibit 291.
It's like the trials are calming, Judy. It's like they're good. It's like sleeping with a soap opera on. I always fall asleep on the couch when there's soap opera on.
Exhibit 291 for yourself and view what is inside.
As this process is going on, I'll just let the jury know that obviously Randy is becoming involved in this part. He's responsible for the security of this room. So anytime, whether for evidentiary purposes or not, there's a firearm brought into this space, he takes a keen interest and role in that for everyone's safety and security.
And Deputy, could you just tell me what Exhibit 291 is?
This is that same black rifle we saw in the photographs.
That you collected at the Irwin Road property hidden behind a board?
Correct. It is a Norinco SKS 76 by 39 caliber rifle.
And is it in the same or substantially same condition as when you collected it?
Yes, it has a red dot sight and a camouflage colored strap on it.
I would move Exhibit 291 into evidence at this time.
No objection.
No objection that is received.
And we'll give Randy a minute to secure it.
Thank you, Randy.
And Deputy, if you would take Exhibit 291 out of the box and display it carefully for the jury. Thank you. If you want to put it back in the box. Randy, did you want to take ownership of it or?
Yes.
Okay. The box, because the tape is undone, the box is not perfect.
You think people would watch the OJ trial if we did that one again?
Perfectly closed. Deputy, did you attend the autopsy of Mr. Halderson's torso?
I did.
And that occurred at the medical examiner's office?
Yes.
I'm going to show you what has been marked as Exhibit 553 and 554. I'm not going to ask you to remove these from the boxes or anything, but based on the markings that are on 553 and 554, could you please identify them?
Item 553 is a jacket and fragment that was retrieved from the rear neck area of the torso. And item 554 is additional fragments from a bullet retrieved from the abdomen.
And those were retrieved from the torso by the medical examiner during the autopsy.
Correct.
I would move Exhibits 553 and 554 into evidence at this time.
No objection.
They are received.
No further questions.
Cross-examination.
Thank you. Good morning, Deputy.
Good morning.
Now you, just so I'm clear, you searched this barn or shed at the Irwin address a couple of times?
There was an official search on the 12th that some detectives did, yes.
And there was a cursory search the night of the finding of the torso?
I wouldn't even call it a search, but yeah, like a walk around and the canine went through it.
Were you there for both of these events?
Yes.
Did you participate in the search? And I understand the first one may not have been technically the kind of search we're talking about, but did you participate both times in looking for things in that shed?
I documented the search by photographing it. I did not search per se myself.
Now, the first time, how many people were looking around that barn?
You're talking the first night on the 8th?
Yes.
4 of us, I believe.
And the second time, how many people were looking around that barn?
Without looking at the log, I don't recall who was all there, maybe 6.
And each time before looking or before searching, is it fair to say that discussions were had and a plan was made as to how to do the search and what things in particular would be notable?
Yes.
So for example, you might want to say, let's look for footprints or shoe impressions, correct?
As an example.
In this case, you knew about the torso with the gunshots before the second search, correct?
Yes.
So is it fair to say that one strategy for the search would be to look for any firearms, correct?
Yes.
Now, I heard you say that resources were at a premium around the time of the second search. Did I get that correct?
Yes.
The sheriff's department, or you in particular, between that moment when resources were at a premium and October, when this firearm was found in the barn, you didn't go back to search further, correct?
I did not. I can't tell you if there were additional searches.
I think it was a few.
There's no sheriff's department rules or protocol that would prevent anyone from going back and searching again, correct?
Well, we would, I mean, if we were going to do that, we would either need the permission of the homeowner or an additional search warrant. Given the circumstances, we would have procured another warrant anyway.
And you obtained both of those the first time, right?
When I was there, yes.
Now, you took possession of the firearm, the SKS that was found in that barn, correct?
Yes.
So you physically lifted it up from its location, is that right?
Yes.
Are you familiar with something called a flash suppressor?
No.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Any redirect?
Thank you.
No.
May this witness be excused
Yes.
and released?
No.
All right, you're excused from testifying further today, sir. Thank you very much. Have a good remainder of your day. And the next witness, please.
Stickles Dan Feeney.
Yeah, I want to do the
Good morning. Please state and spell your name for us.
My name is Dan Feeney, Dan, D-A-N, Feeney, F-E-E-N-E-Y.
What do you do for a living, sir?
I'm a detective with the Dane County Sheriff's Office.
How long have you been in that role?
Since May of 2021.
Early part of July 2021, were you asked to assist in the search of the Irwin Road property in reference to the homicides of Bart Halderson and Krista Halderson?
Yes, I was.
And what was your role in this search?
My role was searching the grounds on the Irwin Road property on foot.
Particularly at some point were you asked to search maybe the driveway leading down to the road, that area?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to show, and did you find anything of evidentiary interest in this case?
Yes, I found some items in the garbage can.
All right, I'm showing you what's been marked. In this case is exhibits number 158 through 167. Could you page through those real quick and just let me know when you're done in general what they are?
These are the items that were located in the garbage can at the Irwin Road address.
And what were those items that were of interest to you?
It was a grocery style plastic bag containing some cleaning material. I believe it was white rags, as well as two Brillo pads inside of it.
And did you collect these items?
I did.
I think I've already moved all but two of them, but I'll move 158 through 167 into evidence and ask to publish them.
No objection.
They are received. They may be published.
Kimmy, down girl.
They should appear on the computer monitor directly in front of you, sir.
Starting with exhibit number 158, what are we looking at there?
You're looking at the garbage cans at the start of the driveway with the target bag located inside the garbage can in front of it.
And that target bag was, it's removed there. Was it in that location when you found it?
It was inside the garbage can to the right with the black lid.
That's Cress's property, right?
And exhibit 159, is that garbage can?
Yes.
When you found, go back to 158. When you found 158, was it the only item that was in that garbage can?
Yes, it was.
160, what are we looking at there?
The bag was previously tied off, so we had opened it up to observe what was inside of the bag.
161, what is that?
That is the sticker that was on the outside of the target bag that has Melender, C as the owner, or excuse me, the person that would have picked up the property from Target. And I know from the investigation, it's potentially Catherine Melender.
162, what are we looking at there?
This is the garbage bag, or the plastic bag inside of the target bag containing the white rags and Brillo pads.
There's a red substance there that we can see?
Yes.
What did that appear to be to you?
There was a large amount of red and brownish substance. Through my training experience, I recognized as potentially dried blood.
163, what am I looking at?
Looking at the rags again with one of the Brillo pads.
You say Brillo pad kind of in the exact center where I'm pointing the laser up on the big screen. That's the Brillo pad?
Yes, sir.
Were those Brillo pads themselves stained or were they new?
No, they were used. They also had the similar brown reddish staining on it as the rags did in the bag.
164, what are we looking at there?
Just the target bag that was the exterior bag with the rags located in.
Couple views of that, 165.
Same thing, yep.
166.
Interior of the bag.
167.
Interior as well.
When you collected these items, did they have any sort of smell to them?
Yes. Right when I opened up the bag, it was an immediate smell of what I describe as cleaning material. The closest thing that came to my mind was like rubbing alcohol. And then it was just overtaken by a rancid, putrid smell.
No further questions.
Cross-examination.
Good morning, Deputy.
Morning.
As part of your role in this investigation at that Irwin Road location, you did area, correct?
I did.
Going from home to home, seeing if anyone had, for example, ring or surveillance video, correct?
I did, yes.
And just generally talking to people to see if they saw anything that might be helpful, correct?
Yes.
That's all. Thank you.
Any redirect?
It's a pretty rural area.
Yeah, it's very rural, yes.
Were there any direct next door neighbors right across the street from the driveway?
No, slightly down the roadway.
Thank you. No further questions.
All right, so that was the first section that I went through this morning, and I trimmed a lot from it. So you guys want to keep watching? It is 9:30. We've been on about an hour and a half. Totally up to you guys if you want to keep going. Bobby Boucher. First of all, is that your real name? Is that a celebrity, Bobby Boucher? Is that a celebrity name? He says, I was a union laborer, 250 pounds of twisted steel and sex appeal. Oh, y'all are a mess. Where's Smith? Well, okay, we'll keep going then. Coffee wants to get to Smith big time, but I don't think the Smith is on this next one. Hang on, I gotta pull it back up. We're still going through discovery. Come on now, play. There you go.
Good morning.
And Deputy Plenty, I assume your name is still spelled the same as it was a few days ago?
Correct.
You previously testified that you were a deputy. Are you also a member of the crime scene unit?
That's correct as well.
Have you gone through any trainings in order to become a member of the crime scene unit?
Correct. I've attended a basic evidence technician school and other additional training for more specific areas of expertise in being part of the crime scene unit.
Okay. And could you just briefly list a few of those topics for the jury that you've had trainings on?
It would include, but not limited to, collection of DNA with a buccal swab, shooting reconstruction school, blood splatter school, things of that nature as well, in addition to the basic evidence technician school that I've attended.
I think you told me that before, Bobby. I've forgotten that.
And how long have you been a member of the crime scene unit?
Since 2012.
And Deputy, I'm going to approach you with a series of photographs, exhibits 168 through 172. Then there's exhibits 544 and 545, as well as exhibits 345 through 358. Could you please look through exhibits 168 through 172, 544, and 545? And I don't want you to go through them all individually at this time. But as a group, how would you describe exhibits 168 through 172, and then 545 and 544?
In general, they are pictures of the bin that was recovered on the property in the township of Cottage Grove. To include some of the pictures will show a gray in color tarp that is positioned inside of the bin as well.
And did all these photographs appear to be true and accurate?
Correct.
I would move 168 through 172 into evidence, and then 544 and 545 into evidence at this time.
No objection.
They are received.
And just for simplicity's sake, could you please look at 345 through 358?
Photos were during a search and collection of footwear that was located at the property in the village of Windsor.
Do they all appear to be true and accurate depictions of what you observed?
Correct.
I would move 345 through 358 into evidence at this time.
No objection.
They are received.
All right. Deputy, if you would look at the little screen in front of you there. Could you please describe, it says exhibit 50, but I know it's exhibit 150.
From this picture, but it's Rubbermaid brand trash bin. It stands probably approximately 3.5 to 4 feet high, and it has a gray or silver colored tarp that was positioned in the inside of it.
Oh, that's
it's in a wooded area. Approximately, it was 10 yards within the wood line on that property.
69, how would you describe 169?
So what we have here is the same location, photograph of the same location. The only difference is that the bin with the tarp inside has been removed. It shows the vegetation that was underneath of the bin is still green and lush.
Why is that significant?
If the bin had been there for a significant amount of time, not allowing that vegetation to receive sunlight, then it would turn yellow, brown, and perhaps die.
Exhibit 170. What is Exhibit 170? Display.
170 is a look into that same bin that I've mentioned already. It includes that tarp that I've previously mentioned, and it has adhered to the side of the bin a yellow piece of what appeared to be yellow duct tape.
And Deputy, if you would just turn your head towards the big screen, I'm going to use the laser pointer. Is this the item that you are calling yellow duct tape?
Correct.
Okay. And for the record, that is slightly lower than middle and slightly to the right on Exhibit 170.
That seems accurate.
So that was where her body parts were found?
Exhibit 171. Another picture of the garbage bin with the tarp and tape.
Correct.
All right. What is Exhibit? Oh, I'm sorry. This has the wrong numbers on it. 544 display. You can look on your screen.
So what is this exhibit?
Yes.
Was your question?
Yes.
It is the same Rubbermaid bin that was recovered from just inside the woods. It also has the tarp that was included with that.
Wait a minute.
No, sorry. That is actually 172. I apologize.
Hang on. That looked like it was taken at the farm, didn't it? The background?
Judge, can we switch to the Elmo?
Certainly.
Did they show the wrong photo? I thought they were
I believe this will also be on the screen in front of you.
Area.
Deputy, this is Exhibit 544. How would you describe Exhibit 544?
Again, this is the Rubbermaid bin, and it shows another view angle of the yellow duct tape that was inside of that bin.
In an Exhibit 544, I would describe the duct tape as slightly lower than middle and slightly to the left. Does that appear to be accurate?
Correct.
Okay. And 545. Just a crime lab view of the bin.
Side view of the Rubbermaid bin.
If we could go back to the PowerPoint.
No, they didn't find Oliver. I don't think they found all of him either, though, did they?
And Deputy, this part may be easier if you're actually willing to come down off the witness stand, if that's okay with the judge.
Yes,
We're just going to look at the stickers.
Just be sure and speak loudly so that everybody can hear.
Could he be?
Can you look
any
at
dumber?
the stickers as to Exhibit 174? Can you, your offices?
So it'd be this one up here. So,
And what is Exhibit 174?
item 174 is listed as a black rolling garbage bin with tarp.
And I'm not going to open up Exhibit 174, but that is the garbage bin that we've been looking at pictures in pictures 172 and such. Okay, so please sit down. And Deputy, did you, in collecting the garbage bin, did you remove the tarp from the garbage bin?
We did not.
Why didn't you do that?
We did not want to disturb the positioning of the tarp inside and also or disturb any evidence significant to the tarp being inside of the trash can, the bin. We also knew that, or we had talked about sending it to the state crime lab for testing and.
And in fact, it was submitted to the Wisconsin State Crime Lab.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
All right, we're going to shift gears here. You are also part of the 4595 Oak Springs Circle search, part of the crime scene unit there. Exhibit 345. What is an Exhibit 345?
345 is, like previously mentioned, a fair amount of footwear that was located in the garage.
Yeah.
Okay, now it sounds like they're at the
Peeking back
house.
there. Do you go and search that area back behind the shelving unit?
Correct. I had, so the shoes that are on this, what appears to be a rubber mat, I had pulled that mat back towards myself and was able to retrieve what was a pair of shoes that were underneath the shelving unit.
546, another view of the mini shoes.
Correct.
And in this photo, 546, there appears to be some floral shoes at the top. Where were those floral shoes located?
So they were located underneath the shelving unit. In the previous photo, that black type mat that the shoes are resting on was forward towards the shelving unit. And I had pulled that back in order to have access to these other pair of shoes.
So the mat was in 545, the mat is up against the shelving unit.
Slightly under, correct.
And is
Yep.
that the floral shoes kind of peeking out there? Hidden?
Correct. That was the pair of shoes that I had pulled out from underneath.
All right.
And now are present in this photo.
Where they find the foam.
347, what is displayed in photo 347?
347, it's the shoes that were located in front of the shelving unit, as well as the other pair that were positioned underneath the shelving unit as well.
And why did shoes become important in this case?
The state crime lab had advised that there were footwear patterns on tarps that were located during this investigation. So they wanted to have the footwear from the residents collected and photographed to document footwear patterns and types of shoes that were in residence.
And Exhibit 354, what is Exhibit 354 a picture of?
These are Brooks brand shoes. Model would be Launch 5 athletic shoes.
355?
It's the same footwear, just with one of them turned upside down to display the footwear pattern.
And in 355, the shoe that is turned upside down, there appears to be twigs or grass or something in the
There's some
footbed.
organic debris on there, yeah.
356, what is 356 a picture of?
So that is the same shoe that was in the previous slide that was turned upside down. What we see in that, the left side line that runs up and down, there's a reddish brown stain towards the bottom of that line in the footwear tread.
So I'm using my laser pointer to highlight. It appears to be almost smack dab middle in the photo.
Correct.
And what does 357 show?
Again, shows the same shoe that's turned upside down, but here this shows the toe area, the tip of the toe area, and there's red staining as well on that.
358, what does Exhibit 358 show?
358 shows both shoes that are resting on the sole, and it shows the shoe, which is on the right side, has red staining on the tongue. On the N of the launch word has a reddish brown stain on it.
And there should be some gloves up there if you want to glove up. Also should be some scissors and an X-Acto knife. I'm going to show you, Deputy, what has been marked as Exhibit 359. Could you please open up Exhibit 359 and just verbally say what is inside? And verbally, how would you identify Exhibit 359?
So these are the footwear, the Brooks Launch 5 footwear that I located.
Right. And do they appear to be in the same or substantially the same condition as when you collected them?
The same condition.
Okay. At this time, I would move Exhibit 359 into evidence.
No objection.
They are received.
All right, I'm just going to have you walk them in front of the jury, just back and forth.
I wasn't paying attention. Is it the cell phone? Oh,
Thank you, Deputy.
Okay.
If you want to try to put them back in there.
Yeah, no doubt, Gregory.
That's pretty good. And of course, the staining on those shoes was swabbed by the crime lab.
Correct.
Okay. All right, you can go ahead and get rid of your gloves. Now I'm going to show you Exhibit 348. What is Exhibit 348?
348 is the right shoe of the shoes that were located underneath of the shelving unit. You can see the left shoe is at the top of the picture. Inside of this right shoe, there's this foil wrapped item.
Okay.
Oh, good night, Deb. D. Bullard. It was good to see you, honey. Nice chatting with you.
I'm only going to hold the bag, so I will let you glove up and open up 390.
Oh, I'm sure that Daryl Brooks is trying to school Chandler if they're in the same room together. In the same area. You know they're both in medical. You know they are. But Chandler's wounds are real. He probably self-inflicted. There's no telling. Sleep well, Debbie.
And I think removing one is fine. They're just a matching set. And is Exhibit 390 the same or in substantially the same condition as when you collected it from the 4595 Oak Spring Circle address?
It is.
Okay. Could you please just walk that shoe back and forth in front of the jury?
Well, you know, he's got that SpaceX job coming up, Kimmy. He knows about that gamma ray thing. Do you think is that a thing? Is that really, if you wrap it in tinfoil? I don't think so. Is it really?
Okay, and feel free to put that back in the bag.
I don't think we moved that one into evidence.
Oh, I'm sorry. I moved 390 into evidence at
Any
this time.
objection?
No objection.
It is received.
Yeah, they're in
Okay.
the same jail, Louise.
And what does Exhibit 349 show?
So the previous slide showed a item that was wrapped in foil. This is then myself opening this foil wrapped item. What we see here is a sheet of paper towel that is wrapped around the contents. We can see a portion of a photo Wisconsin driver's license. And just beyond that is the black item is a cell phone.
And in the process of searching and collecting evidence, did you in fact collect the foil and the paper towel as you described displayed in Exhibit 349?
Correct.
And I'm not going to have you open these if you can identify them from your office's stickers. 388, how would you describe 388?
388 is the paper towel sheet that is in the photo.
And I see JP, those are your initials, you
Correct.
collected it. And Exhibit 389, what is Exhibit 389?
And 389 is the foil sheet that was used to wrap the contents. And there's my initials on this as well.
All right, I would move 388 and 389 into evidence at this time.
No objection.
They are received.
Gary did the most labor he's ever done in his whole life during that week, that month of July, or that week, actually. A couple of days.
And Deputy, do you continue to unwrap this evidentiary present?
I continue to unwrap it, correct. Mhm.
And what is Exhibit 350 display?
So what we see here, we can still see the foil sheet. We can still see the paper towel sheet. We can see now Bart Halderson's Wisconsin issued photo driver's license. And we can see the Apple iPhone that is located underneath the driver's license.
What is 351 display?
So 351 is the top phone, the black phone that we saw in the last picture. It is now, along with the driver's license, simply just turned over. And we can see Krista's Wisconsin driver's license and an additional phone.
So both phones and driver's license were wrapped together in the same packaging?
Correct.
Could you please describe 352?
Again, it's the foil, it's the paper towel sheet, it's the two phones. Bart's driver's license is not visible. It's on the underside of the left phone. We can see Krista's driver's license resting on top of the phone on the right side.
And 353.
And this would be Krista's Wisconsin driver's license and a phone located underneath of that.
You know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking the reason he didn't dispose of those is, am I muted? No, I'm not. Okay, just checking. I was serious. I'm checking. I think that he probably thought, well, you know what? I might need their IDs in case I need to go do something later, like paperwork or, you know, whatever I need to do to get to their money or whatever that is. So I don't want to get rid of these. But did he forget he had the cell phone? Maybe he forgot he had the cell phone. Because, like, couldn't he have just thrown those out the window somewhere, driving down the road in the middle of nowhere? Just throw them out. Just get rid of them. I don't understand why you keep that evidence. That's how half these people get caught.
And I don't think you need to glove up. I'm not going to ask you to open up any of these items. I'm actually going to have you sit down so we can hear you nice and clearly. Exhibit 387, how would you describe Exhibit 387?
It is a photo Wisconsin driver's license that's been issued to Christina Halderson.
And has your nice initials on there?
That's correct.
And it appears to be in the same condition as when you collected it?
It does.
I would move Exhibit 387 into evidence.
No objection.
It is received.
Exhibit 386, how would you describe Exhibit 386?
Photo Wisconsin driver's license that's been issued to Bart Halderson. And it does have my initials on it and in the same condition.
Okay, I would move Exhibit 386 into evidence at this time.
No objection.
It is received.
And 384 and 385. Could you please describe 384 and 385?
384 is iPhone that was located in the foil packaging. It has my initials on it, and while it's packaged, I would believe it's in the same condition as when I had recovered it. And 385 is a white iPhone, which was in the pictures that were previously shown. Again, my initials are on it, and I would imagine it is in the same condition as when I had recovered that one.
And these are the phones that were wrapped in the paper towel, wrapped in the foil, hidden in a shoe, hidden under a shelf.
Correct.
I would move 385 and 384 into evidence at this time.
No objection.
They are received.
Yeah, he did text himself from his mom's phone, but I don't know.
Deputy, in the course of this investigation, were you asked to take a buckle sample from Chandler Halderson in compliance with a search warrant?
Correct.
And did you in fact do that?
I did.
Could you please identify, do you see Mr. Halderson in the courtroom today?
I do.
Just so that we're consistent with our record, I'd ask everyone who's not in the jury box to lower their mask briefly so that the witness can observe every face. Thank you. Go ahead and replace your masks.
Do you see Mr. Halderson?
I do.
Could you please identify him by where he's seated and perhaps the color of his shirt?
He is seated at the defense table. The shirt is perhaps a lavender type color.
I would.
Again, not me. That's not me. That's them. Miss Debbie.
This is swabbing of inside of the mouth. So we're collecting a DNA sample from that area.
And does it come in a kit, or what tools do you use?
It comes in an envelope, which includes 2 swabs to administer the test.
And you've had training on this procedure?
Correct.
I'm going to show you what has been marked as Exhibit 360. I'm not going to ask you to open it, but could you please identify Exhibit 360?
It is the buccal swabs that I had collected from Mr. Halderson. It is initialed by myself as well.
All right. At this time, I would move Exhibit 360 into evidence.
No objection.
It's received.
Yeah, that's the only thing he did in Debbie said the only thing he did was different was to have a lawyer. I don't know, his lawyer's not that great though.
No further questions.
The evidence.
Examination.
Yes, thank you. Deputy Plenty, this was your first time in the Halderson household, correct?
I'm sorry, what's that question?
This was your first time being in the Halderson household, correct?
In the Halderson house?
Yes.
This incident, correct.
So prior to this incident, you've never been in the home?
Correct.
You wouldn't know where exactly all shoes in the household are located, correct?
By the end of the search, we had gone through the house pretty thoroughly, and I had located or had pointed out to me the shoes that were located in the house.
So by the end of the search, you were very familiar where all the shoes in the home were located, correct?
Correct.
But you don't necessarily know if that's where they were located.
I don't know what their problem is. Because it's still running. It's just pausing.
Know where they're commonly located.
And it looks like as far as all of the shoes, there were a couple of shoes that were located or we saw in those photographs, correct?
There were several shoes, correct?
And it looks like only one pair of shoes had any kind.
This is mind-boggling. This video messing up. I don't
Stains.
consent.
Does that sound about right?
I don't recall the exact number, but I can think of 3 stains that were on the shoes, correct?
And the shoes, would you identify them or would you describe them as being worn? They were worn shoes.
Correct.
It's obvious that they were used regularly, correct?
They've been used, yes.
And there was even some debris located on the bottom of the shoes as well, correct?
Correct.
I have no further questions for you. Thank you.
Any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
May this witness be excused?
Louise says she thinks they're trying to go for reasonable doubt. Hang on. Let's see. Oh, the next video is almost 3 hours long. I want to see something. Hang on. I'm looking for. Now let's see what I'm looking for. Correct? Correct? Jeez. Did you count all the light bulbs in the house? Is the temple causing the interference? Maybe they should have brought it into court. They shouldn't have brought it into court. You know what? That's what it was. It was the tinfoil. By God, it was a tinfoil. Hey, does my hat look fake on my picture? It's a little bright, isn't it? I should probably fix that graphic design there. So it looks like it's a real hat. It's really on my head. This is very alarming, Louise said. So they're trying to get reasonable doubt. Reasonably, though? Could you really doubt it? With all this evidence? Or they're just trying to, angst ball. They're just trying to appear like they're trying to do their job. I mean, I guess sometimes they have to do that. I mean, you can't deny the evidence. You can't. The tinfoil defense. It's tinfoil gate. No, it's Reynolds Wrap gate. The hat. Oh, you like the hat. I thought you said, I'm like, oh my God, the hat. YouTube is objecting to the subject matter jurisdiction. You haven't proven you can show this video. Y'all don't know what I'm working on. Y'all don't know who I am. I got something coming up for you guys. You're going to like it. Okay, first of all, before I forget, tomorrow at noon, we're having a Workaholics Anonymous meeting. I hope you can all make it here. Secondly, Thursday, we're having our little Kiki and Kiki about the recipe swapping with for Christmas recipes. I'm not going to be the only one doing all these recipes, so y'all better get on it and email me and let me know what you want to swap, because y'all were like, oh yeah, let's do recipe exchange, and I've yet to get an email from any of y'all about the recipes. So don't make me come over there and whoop some booty. Yeah, so then on the same day, on the 14th, the recipe swap's going to be at night. It's at 7 p.m. Central Time. And then Brooke's status hearing is supposed to be at 8:30 a.m. on Thursday. So what I plan on doing is just having a couple of videos ready to rock and roll to watch. We'll be on stream. If they show him in court, we'll be here for it. If they don't, we'll watch the videos, just like we've done the last couple of times. It's like I don't know. It's like they don't want to give that case any more exposure, but damn it, I'll be in the middle of a 2-hour phone call from hell. Well, don't answer when they call from 11 to 1. 13th through the 18th. You go on vacation 13th through the 18th. Oh, okay. So I need to mod from the 13th. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, don't worry about me. Casey, don't ever worry about me. I'm okay. I don't want you to feel obligated to come on when you can't. So please. Is it fair to say that Reynolds Wrap, and do you recall if you bought it at the Dollar Tree? Is it real Reynolds Wrap or fake Reynolds Wrap? Oh, you saw an interview with the younger defense attorney after the trial, and you felt sorry for her, Lady T? Well, she got paid. Okay, you'll be around when you can. I just don't want you to try to be on stream when you don't have to be on. I mean, I can. Obviously, we've only got like 40 people in here, Casey. It's not like I can't watch the chat. I'm going to come here tomorrow and the same picture's going to have a tin full hat on, and y'all are going to laugh. Because I'm clever that way. I'm going to ditch the Santa hat. I don't think they're going to show him, though. I really don't. Oh, I missed the joke? I apologize. I'm having blonde moments today. I don't know. A lot going on. Yeah, y'all, you know what I did? You know what I did yesterday? See, I can share this with y'all because y'all will appreciate this. So I told y'all I live at my sister's, but I don't live in their house. I live outside their home, right? Not in the garage or anything, or not like I live like on their property. Okay, so I go up yesterday, and my sister's, bless her heart, she was cooking. She had all this ground beef done, and she had a thing ready to make her spaghetti, and then she had a thing ready to make chili, and she's like, I'm going to have all this. We're going to eat chili and spaghetti this week. And she says, all I need you to do is cook the noodles. My brother-in-law, do y'all eat spaghetti noodles with your chili? Because I don't. But apparently that's the way he was brought up. My mom used to put rice in our chili. But it's gross that they put spaghetti noodles in it. But they used to do that at his house because they had a bunch of kids, and it was just it was more filling or whatever. So anyway, my sister was like, will you do the noodles? Because she was getting ready they were going to go over to somebody's house. I said, yeah, I'll do them. I didn't have my reading glasses on. And I go up I put the pot on behind the chili. I put it on another burner behind the chili. I turn it on high, boiling water pot, right? I just turned it on. I step outside to smoke a cigarette on the patio. I come back in. The chili is bubbling. I burnt the chili, y'all. I burnt the chili. The whole house smelled. There was smoke everywhere. We had to open all the doors. My sister was not happy with me at all. And yeah, it was bad. So I've been doing some dumb things lately like that. But I really did look at it. I was like, that says rear, doesn't it? That says rear burner. I just should have put my glasses on. They just weren't nearby. Oh, really? During the closing arguments, the prosecution woman lawyer sounded like she wanted to cry. Which one did the closing on this one? Was it the younger one or the older one? I live in a car. Well, during the summer months, Louise, I have a tent out there. During the winter months, I live in my car. It's not a Ford Escape, though. It's a Jeep Renegade. I'm sorry, that was loud. Oh, no. It's an in-law suite. She copped a flogging in the trial chat. She had copped a flogging in the trial chat. She talked about that. What you talking about, Lady T? I do not live in a car, y'all. I've never heard of this. Rice, maybe? I always use rice in my chili. Yes, thank you. I'm going through the chat. Hang on. Noodles. You do noodles too, Lenny? Yeah, not in my chili now. Y'all are all saying I live in a car. Oh. There's a 5-way chili where you place spaghetti noodles. Oh, let's listen to this. Sean's got a recipe. 5-way chili. You place spaghetti noodles, beans, onions, and cheese. Okay. Now, what we would do is we would just do, chili on top of rice. Just burnt my finger. And then we would put sprinkle a few either white onion or yellow onion or green onions on top, and then cheese on top. That's the way we did it. Yaki, what type of recipes? Any type of holiday recipes. I'm gonna try to lean towards I'm leaning towards stuff that you would maybe only do during the holidays. So I'm gonna give away my secret recipe for my crack candy that I make that everybody just loves. And then I've got a recipe. I'm stealing a recipe from somebody else that I'm going to go, but I'm not going to be the only one doing a recipe. I do have a good banana split cake recipe too. I could share. We usually only do banana split cake at Christmas time. Y'all are never going to let me live this down. Yeah. I have an extension cord that runs to her house. That's how I'm doing my live streams. Can y'all imagine? Chili on spaghetti, Cincinnati thing. Is it a Cincinnati thing? Do you know, I don't know if I've ever had, I know I've had Brunswick stew, but that's not really a Southern thing, I don't think, is it? Cranberry meatballs at Christmas to the plantations. Made 20 gallons of stew yesterday. I would love that recipe, Cher. Can I get that recipe? Will you bring that to the party? To our Christmas exchange party? I want to know. Cranberry meatballs. That one too. Kimmy, you gonna come to the party empty-handed? You gotta at least bring wine or something. I don't have any recipes, but I'm going to be on the stream because I need a husband, and I heard the way to a man's heart is through his stomach. Girl, we know you looking for a man. We know that. It doesn't have to all be dessert type things. Spaghetti and chili on the side. No, my sister does this baked spaghetti that she got off of TikTok, and it is absolutely amazing. She puts cream cheese in it. So it's like spaghetti with cream cheese, and then she puts it in a pan and bakes it with cheese on top, or like cheddar cheese on top, and then she puts it and bakes it. It's really, really good. Hitching a ride from Marcus in 24 hours. Marcus is bringing the chili recipe. Y'all gotta do a GoFundMe page for me. Oh my gosh. No, I'm in an in-law suite. They should offer company entertainment while they cook until I join and under supervision. I know, since I moved here, my sister's mother-in-law, she's amazing. She likes to cook for everybody. I've gotten so lazy. I don't even want to cook. I just eat her. She brings the potato salad. She does everything. And she cuts everything up by hand. I'm going to Carrie's first, then your house second. Does your sister have her street numbers on the back of her house? No, we're out here in the woods. I would not mind learning how to make Brunswick stew because we make only a few things with stew meat, and I want to learn how to make some of those things. We do the same thing every winter. It's like, okay, chili, lasagna, taco or chicken tortilla type soup, but I do a chicken noodle soup that I make, but we really need a different type of soup or something warm like that. A stew would be nice. Pig pickin' cake and peanut butter pie. I have never heard of a pig pickin' cake. Did I give y'all my recipe for my peanut butter cookies that are just amazing? I think Patty made them. Speaking of Patty, y'all, she dipped out without saying goodbye. She's not in the chat anymore. We see you, Patty. We know you left. Just look for my license plate. You'll find me. Brunswick stew. So it's really like a beef. What's the difference between a Brunswick stew and a beef stew? Isn't it kind of the same? Oh, there she is. Okay. You're listening. See, I was gonna call you out. I did call you out. Hey, Tony, back. Crock pot. Chicken breast and 2 jars of salsa and cook all day. Maybe add beans at the end. Shred the forks at the end. Shred it with the fork at the end and shorter microwave. That's about my tier of cooking. Okay, wait a minute. Let me go back. So I'm picturing this in my mind. 2 jars of salsa with the chicken and the thing. What kind of beans do you add? Like, yeah, what kind of beans would you add to that egg ball? Because that sounds kind of interesting. I've got the chicken breast in the freezer and I was trying to figure out how I was going to cook them. Patty's working on her recipe. Okay, Lenny, I've got to make... Patty, didn't you cook the peanut butter cookies, the recipe that I gave out? Somebody did. Was it Judy? Or was it Louise? Who cooked those peanut butter cookies? Mississippi pot roast. I want to know what... Oh, I want to know about that one too. See, this is the stuff you guys need to bring to the recipe exchange. And then you serve it in a tortilla shell. Interesting. Blueberry torte. Sounds good, Tony. Oh, you didn't end up making them? Oh, they're so simple. Peanut butter, my peanut butter cookies. A cup of peanut butter, a cup of sugar, a teaspoon of vanilla. What else am I missing? Is that it? Oh, and an egg. And an egg. And then you mix it all together, and then you drop them on the pan and smush them down. But they taste so peanut butter. I can't eat anybody else's peanut butter cookies, or I can't eat any like from the bakery because I need to taste that peanut butter. I need it to be real good and peanut buttery. Good night, Jeffrey. I need to know, Kimmy, about this pot roast. We're so glad you joined us, Jeffrey. Please come back and join us again. Oh, Debbie, you made them. Oh, so did you like them, Debbie? They're so easy. Of course, you got to go and buy it takes a lot of peanut butter. It really doesn't make that many. I know I'm hungry too. I didn't want to eat this late either. All right, we're losing people in the chat. Y'all are hungry. You're getting irritable. You're getting pissy. Even Bruiser's over here asleep, and y'all are getting pissy. Bye, Yanks Ball. Okay, I finally found your email. I will email it over. Oh, okay. Oh, that's right. You put oats in it. Don't be ruining my recipe, Debbie, with the oats. What you got to put oats in for? Don't be ruining my recipes. I'm telling you, cup of sugar, cup of peanut butter, vanilla, and an egg. Boom. And the trick is you dip your spoon I use 2 spoons and I dip them in the little oil. And then you got to make sure that you don't. And then you take your fork and you dip it in the oil before you press down the peanut butter cookies. You guys know how to cook. I'm not trying to but Character Productions, I'm concerned. You can call me Carrie, by the way, Kimmy. I'm concerned for you that you do not have a blanket for tonight. I've got tons of blankets. I'm surrounded by 2 dogs in blankets. Y'all should have seen my Frankie. Oh, it's on my phone. I'll have to upload it. I took a picture of another morning. We got up and it was like 50 degrees. And the night before, I wasn't paying attention. I didn't have the heat on. So I got up and we were freezing. And I come over here and I get on the computer and I look down at Frankie and he's just like, you could tell he was cold. So, he's a big old huge pit bull mix, but he just looks so cold. So I put this blanket over him and I took a picture of him with this blanket over him and it was so stinking cute. He's just a big old baby boy is what he is. And I'm going to cover him up right now, as a matter of fact. He's more of a baby than Bruiser. And Bruiser's like 5 pounds. Bruiser runs the house, actually, not the 100-pound pit bull. Remember the peanut butter cookies they served at school? They didn't serve us any peanut butter cookies at school that I remember. If there is more than 2 steps, I'm out. It's really not hard, though, show poodles. It's really not. You made homemade white bread from scratch. Y'all remember y'all remember when it was like the thing for everybody to have a bread maker? Did everybody get rid of their bread makers? Like it's the Instapot. That's the rage now, the Instapot. That and the what's that mixer? The bullet. The bullet mixer. I used to buy, there's some bread that you can buy in the store in the freezer section, and it's like a loaf, but what you do is you let it thaw out before you bake it. So you have to pull it out like, I guess what? You got to let it rise. You got to let it thaw and rise. And then you bake it. It's really good. And I can't remember who makes it. But if you've never tried the freezer bought bread like that, try it. If you like fresh hot bread, try that. It's not bad. Okay, Sean, am I putting you to sleep? I'm sorry, honey. Well, have a good night. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Yeah, we all are stuffed up in the dogs are in the back seat. I'm in the front. Gingerbread with lemon sauce? And see, that's why I want this is so cool because I think that's why our recipe exchange would be so cool, y'all, because y'all we're from all over the place. We're from different areas, even different countries, and everybody brings something different to the table. Y'all better be bringing something different to the table. I would like to learn how to make bread pudding. Lots of cinnamon. What's an Instapot? You don't have an Instapot, Debbie? The instant or the instant pot? Instapot, Instant Pot. It's like a pressure cooker. I bought one because I got it on sale on a Black Friday sale. I don't use it as often as I should. Air fryer. My sister's got. Yep, that's the latest thing too. My sister's got one of those. I've been here I've been here a year and a half. We've never used it. I've never seen her use it. I make a pretty good cheesecake recipe I got from coworker because it was too expensive to purchase. All right, well, bring it, Kimmy. I have a bread maker still in box. Brother bought it for me. Mom asked brother if he had ever met me. Oh, he was trying. Crockpot 2.0. Yeah, I guess so. Oh, you sent it to me? Thank you, Patty. No Instapot or air fryer. Instapot, yep. Crockpot, rice cooker. I never had a rice cooker. And other settings. I have an Instapot and it's collecting dust. I'm terrified to use it. Are you really terrified to use it? You know what you need to do, Patty? Just go in there one day, Patty. Put your chicken in there. Just put chicken in there. Like they said, either with the salsa or the whatever you want to put. Whatever. I like to do canned soup or something like that in there, right? Flip that sucker on, walk away. Just read the manual. That's what I did. That's how I learned to use it. But I still it has a lot of buttons on it that I don't know exactly what I'm doing. So I always have to pull the manual out before I utilize it. Have you ever bought my favorite eggs are the Sunny, what do they call it? The poached eggs? I like poached eggs. Those are my favorite. They're supposed to be lower in fat too. And they've got the little plastic things that you can buy. You can get them anywhere now. And you put 2 poached eggs in it and you put it in the microwave and you make poached eggs that way. I love doing that. We had an old-timey poached egg maker that I used to love too, though. I don't know. I think I threw it out. Built a solar oven. Wow, that's pretty cool. A Blackstone griddle? I don't think so. Oh, Kitty. You ruin everything in your air fryer? I wouldn't know how to use that. I would not know how to use that. What's Tony getting into? How does the sun get that oven warm enough to cook things? Sounds cool. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, I can do the crock pot too. But oh, before I forget to tell you guys, so yeah, I'm gonna start doing some stuff on this Highland Park attacker because that's gonna come up in February and I want to start doing some pieces on it. So I'm gonna start mixing some of that in, but I don't think they're gonna show that trial on TV. They went in there today. I thought they were starting the trial today, but he asked to represent himself, so I don't know what's going to happen with that. Look it up. Listen and tell me to look it up. Blackstone. All right, I'm looking it up. Blackstone grill. Oh, okay. It's a grill or a griddle. Wait. I'm not sure I understand. A Blackstone grill from Lowe's or a griddle. Oh, I love Banana Foster. Oh, yeah. Yaki, will you bring that recipe? Is it hard, Yaki? Because I would love to have that recipe. I love Banana Fosters. That's my favorite. Is it Bananas Foster? If I have that on my pancakes or anything, oh, I love that. Why won't it be televised? I don't know. It's in Illinois. I just know that on the website when I went to look up the case, and we're talking about the Highland Park attacker case. It's said in there that you can't record. It's like another one of those. You can't record it. You can't share it. You can't. No audio, no video, nothing. But you can get on and watch it on Zoom if you wanted to. So, and you had to register in advance that you wanted to watch it on Zoom. So I had to pre-register to watch it. But I think that if they were going to let it be on TV, today would have been on TV because I thought today was the start of it. But maybe it was just a pre-trial. Representing yourself, that's the new cool. That is the new cool. Apparently. That and breaking the law. Or maybe we can all watch it via Zoom and talk about it later. What if we all had it on Zoom and I had a live stream chat open at the same time? But you'd all have to have Zoom and you'd all need your laptops or whatever. You'd all have to have Zoom and go in there and watch it. We could do that. It might be boring as hell, though, honestly. I don't know. The trial starts February the 26th, and then they're meeting again on January the 10th for the pretrial. It sounds like a plan. Well, maybe we'll do that. Let's see what comes up, because I'm gonna have to follow it because I really want to follow it, but it's kind of hard to bring you guys anything when I can't even show what they're doing. Looking forward. Oh, you know what else starts that week, you guys? On the 8th? Well, no. I had the Delphi murder trial starting on the 8th, but that is the Delphi case that got moved back, right? Because the attorney quit. Anybody know when that is? I haven't done anything on that trial because everybody talks about that trial. Everybody talks about that trial. So I probably need to know from you guys, do you all want me to follow it? Because I would think that would be a good one for us to stream here on this channel. But I think it got moved. I was going to look that up. Jennifer and James Crumbly, the Ethan Crumbly parents, they go to trial on the 23rd of January. And then Sarah Boone's trial starts on the 29th of January. And Brooks's trial will start on... Oh my God, do I not have it in here? How would I not have it in here? Are we still open on that date? I thought I wrote it down in here. It's February, isn't it? Or is it in January? Bryce Rhodes. I don't know. I gotta look that up, y'all. And I have down here that Gypsy Rose gets released on the 28th of December. Is that right, or was that November? No. Yeah. Was that November or December? Did I write it on the wrong month? Because I heard she already got released. Look at Bryce. I know, I looked him up one time before. Bryce Rhodes. Oh, these names run together. No guy. Somebody earlier in the chat said this. The Amato guy, the Joel guy Jr., and Halderson, they're all very like similar cases, and they all happened around the same time. I think Joel's was earlier. He's scary, and let me look him up real quick. Bryce Rhodes. Oh, he's a big dude, huh? Wait, I think I remember him. Oh, him? Wait a minute. Oh, he's the one that's so crazy. That's right. Oh, the jury selection just began. Do y'all want to watch this real quick? Let's go over to this real quick. Let me pull it up. Something happened yesterday. Let me share my screen. So it is this month, Patty? Okay, that Gypsy gets released. That's what Okay. Go away, ads. All these ads. We gotta watch the ad. I'm not gonna let you watch the ad. You know why? Because I don't want to get demonetized. Hang on. Here we go.
Years after his arrest, the trial of triple murder suspect Bryce Rhodes is underway in Louisville, but Rhodes wasn't in the courtroom today. during jury selection. It's our top story. Hello, everybody. I'm Doug Profit.
And I'm Shay McAllister. Rhodes is accused of brutally killing two teenage brothers in 2016 after police say the boys witnessed him killing 40-year-old Christopher Jones. Alexis Jones reports from the courtroom.
After sending out hundreds of jury notices, the court is working to narrow down the jury pool to 60 people ahead of opening statements. Potential jurors were asked a series of questions Monday. Ultimately, 12 of them will decide if Bryce Rhodes is guilty of one of Louisville's most heinous homicides. Police say Rhodes murdered 14-year-old Larry Ordway and 16-year-old Maurice Gordon after they saw him kill 40-year-old Christopher Jones back in 2016. According to police records, the teen brothers were stabbed, tortured, and burned. Since then, Rhodes gained more charges while in jail, including attempted escape, terroristic threatening, and assault on officers. He also has a history of where he focused on a judge in 2020.
Are you some type of racist? Are you got some type of sexual relationship going on? Which one is it?
Or are you just wrong in everything that you've made a motion for?
Are you a secret Ku Klux Klan member?
No, sir, I'm not.
What you really are?
However, Judge Julie Kalin says this kind of behavior will not be tolerated in
Oh
her
my
courtroom.
gosh.
Friday, she explained what will happen if he causes a disturbance.
What's going to happen is I'm going to just pause and the jury will be escorted out of the courtroom because they're not going to know you're in jail, right? So you're not going to be shackled or anything. They're not going to see you coming in or out of that door. The whole point is that they do not know that you are in jail.
What's going on with
So
his
they
head?
will be escorted out of the courtroom and then we're going to have a talk. And I'm going to give you the option of either staying in the courtroom with like this cuff on your leg that deputies can use to shock you, but I'm not going to make you wear it. You don't have to.
Oh, he's going to have a chocolate.
You will be given the choice of either staying in the courtroom with that device on or just being in the back, or going back. It'll be your choice.
Initially,
I want to see what's on his head, y'all. Look at his. Hang on. we're gonna
Rhodes
go
was
back.
facing the death penalty, but Judge Kalin took it off the table, saying there is ample evidence Rhodes has a serious mental illness.
Look at his head. He's a serious mental illness.
But says he's eligible to stand trial. If convicted, Rhodes faces life in prison. Opening statements are scheduled for Tuesday afternoon. In Louisville, Alexis Jones, Judge Julie Kalin says this
motion for.
however, will not be tolerated in her courtroom. Friday,
What's going to happen
Here
is
it is.
Disturbance.
Look.
What's going to happen is I'm
His
gonna
head
just-
looks weird.
What's going to happen is I'm going to.
Damn it.
No, sir, I'm not.
However, Judge Julie Kalin says this kind of behavior will not be tolerated in her courtroom. Friday.
Triple murder suspect Bryce.
Oh, for freak's sakes, I messed it up. Never mind. Let's see what this one says.
5 more than 7 years after his arrest, the trial of triple murder suspect Bryce Rhodes is underway in Louisville, but Rhodes wasn't in the courtroom.
Which one did we just watch? Well,
Triple murder suspect Bryce Rhodes walked back into a Jefferson County courtroom today with a judge ruling he is competent to stand trial.
As WDRB's Darby Bean tells us, it was a hearing the defense tried to keep the public and the media out of, but it remained open.
It's a case that's been pending since 2016. Bryce Rhodes is accused of killing 3 people, including 2 teenage boys. He's been in and out of the courtroom several times, known for his outbursts at previous hearings. This case was set to go to trial in January of 2022, but Rhodes' attorney asked for a competency evaluation. Now, Judge Julie Kalin ruled Friday that Rhodes is competent and set a trial date for December 11th, 2023.
There has been no conclusive testimony that he is incompetent.
The hearing lasted more than 2 hours and included arguments from both the Commonwealth and defense, as well as testimony from other witnesses. Rhodes' attorney, Tom Griffiths, asked if he could testify about Rhodes' behavior himself, but Judge Kalin ultimately denied that request.
Strange words coming out of my mouth, Judge. I'm the last witness for the defense. The court having ruled that I'm not able to testify, that's all the witnesses that we have.
During final arguments, the Commonwealth asked the court to find Rhodes competent for trial.
He made comments about the court process that shows that he does understand what's going on. He understands the challenges that he faces because of having a high publicity case.
But the defense argued otherwise.
He has run off multiple attorneys, Judge.
I bet he is.
It does not make him a competent person because I haven't quit him. He will not speak to me, as is in the record, and hasn't for years.
Still, Judge Kalen ruled Rhodes can stand trial.
I don't believe that any of the evidence through testimony today is conclusive that Mr. Rhodes isn't just making the decision to not participate. I don't think that that necessarily makes him incompetent.
Despite efforts from the defense to push the trial date a year out, Judge Kalen set the trial to begin this December.
Rhodes spoke at the end of that hearing, saying he wanted new attorneys, but he did not want to represent.
You don't want to go to long crime? Am I spelling it right? Nope. I want to hear what they say. Where's long crime at? There they are.
You're not trying to give me a fair chance, effective counsel.
Well, who do you think I should
It's
give you as
okay.
a lawyer?
I'll write the Bar Association and the ACLU.
From threatening a judge to calling another a racist to allegedly spitting on his former attorney, there is a lot to break down in the case of accused triple murderer Bryce Rhodes. And with his trial about to begin,
We can't play this one, y'all. They're gonna strike me on this if I play it because that's one of their shows. Okay. Done. I'm in. I'm in. He's crazy. This is gonna be a crazy trial. So when does it start? They're on jury selection now. So he hasn't spoken to his lawyer in years. Why not? Why is he talking to his lawyer? And why has it taken so long to get into trial? It does look like he's got like something going on in his head. Like maybe he got burned. He probably has been in tons of fights if he has that kind of attitude. Obviously. He is gross. Heebie-jeebies, yes. I have seen some clips from him before. And I think I do have him on my to-do list. I just forgot him. I didn't realize he looks bigger than I thought he was. Yeah. I didn't realize it was coming up now. Well, let me look at my calendar. Oh, okay. Yeah, we could probably fit this one in. Well, I mean, if they're doing jury selection now, they started today. How long does jury selection normally take? I wouldn't want to be on that jury. I would do everything I could do to get out that jury because that guy does scare me too. Okay, bye, Inksball. He did spit on his attorney. He keeps complaining about his attorneys, and this has been going on for 8 years. Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess I better get on it and get this started then. Get some stuff together for you guys so we can sit down and I'll do a case dive and we'll start out that way. And then maybe by the time it starts, we can all watch it together. I'm going to be honest though. I hate watching live trials on stream because I hate being pinned down for that long period of time onto my computer. I can't move around. I can't because the last time I tried to move around, y'all remember what happened? My phone went out on me. I remember the spit mask. Yeah. They had him strapped to a wheelchair with a spit mask on. Cher just text what he did. You got two little boys. Cause he's the groomer. They're all hung up. Oh my gosh. That's horrible. He had dreads, and when they got shaved off, he had some kind of shabby, weird crap for a long time. Oh. Yeah, I'm honestly, I'm kind of scared to cover him on YouTube. He knows people. He's, Brooks, I'm not scared of. This guy, I can guarantee you this guy's got connections. He is the scary version of Brooks. That's a good way to put it, Kimmy. I only want to watch the parts. I don't want. And that's the other thing too. Like when you start to get into a trial like this, and they start to get into all the gruesome stuff, then they're gonna demonetize it. That's the other reason I hate doing these trials, because you don't ever know what's gonna happen. Well, you do kind of, but then YouTube turns around and demonetizes you because the content is too much. And then you've sat here for 8 hours on a trial stream, and now you're stuck to it for the entire trial. There were 6 people involved, and everyone pled guilty except for him. He's crazy. He's a physically meaner, ruder, physically more threatening version, yeah. He had the boys with him riding around, and Bryce was just shooting at random people on the street. Just another, he's a thug is all he is. So he was hanging out with younger kids. What does that tell you? What does that tell you guys? Sounds to me like he's not very well respected in his own age group. Let's watch after it's done and you can edit it. Do y'all like that when I do that? Like I'm doing right now with the Halderson case? I haven't been able to edit everything we watch, but I've cut out some. I wouldn't mind doing it that way. I actually prefer that. We could watch it a day late. That actually would be kind of cool to watch it a day late, and then we pick up, and then we do Saturdays too. We're getting into, and then, well, like we'd watch it a day late, and then on Saturday we'd watch the Friday clip, and then we're caught up by Monday. Yeah, I'd rather, if y'all don't mind, I'd rather do it that way. And then I gotta find out what's going on with this Delphi thing. I think everybody and their brother is going to be streaming the Delphi case, so it's going to be the same thing. And I'm going to have to do the Highland Park updates. And then I'm trying to put together, Laura sent me, she's supposed to be sending me some stuff. So I'm trying to put together that clip from the other night where we did the talk about with Crazy KC and Laura, where we did the talk about, what's it called? What's his name? Gacy. So I started watching a Gacy thing the other day to kind of get me up to par on what was going on. I started watching the Netflix series. Oh, you guys, I watched a really good thing on Netflix yesterday. I was going to tell y'all. What did I watch? I watched the new one with Julia Roberts. It was really weird, though. I mean, I guess it was good. It's like 2.5 hours long. It's weird. Did I do a video of that? I don't think there's video out there of it. If there was, we would have seen it, right? Cher, I don't think there's video of him in Nevada and Georgia. Is it out there? Yeah. Hey, Laura. Laura's still here. Yeah. So Laura's got some pictures she's going to send me. So I'm putting together the Gacy. I want to do like a little baby mini doc or something on it. Cause everybody knows the case, really. Everybody knows about him, but I don't want to just do our interview. I want to add to it and make it nice. Kind of anal that way. You know, during his trial, Brooks admitted he lost his case. He admitted it? No, I don't remember that. I don't remember that, Kimmy. What's the name of the new one with Julia Roberts? Leave the World Behind or something like that? It's on Netflix. It's a new one on Netflix. It's like a trending area section. And then I watched another one. I think of what it was. I watched like 3 movies last night. Oh. I was going to tell y'all about it too. It's called May December, I think. Let me see if that's the name of it. It's also on Netflix. And you guys, it's based on the Mary Kay Letourneau case. But it's not that. It's just based on that story. I don't think it's it says, is it based on a true story? The pair met when she was a teacher and he was in a 2nd grade. No, that's not 2nd grade. It's 7th grade. After years of plying with gifts and attention, Letourneau. Oh, wait. Maybe they did meet in the 2nd grade, but they didn't start having anything until he was younger. When she became pregnant with his baby when he was only 13 years old. But I don't know if it's so anyway, my point is Julia, what's her name? Where's she? Natalie Portman plays an actress who comes over to Natalie Portman plays an actress who is going to be playing her in a movie. And Julianna Moore is the one who plays Letourneau. And Julianna Moore does an excellent job in this movie. Are they divorced now? Oh, are they? Let me look that up. I don't think the story's real, but I don't think it is. But obviously it's set on their and honestly, I didn't even know that before I started watching it, but it was easy for me to pick up pretty quickly that that's what it was because the boy is the guy that she's with, he's Korean. I thought he was Mexican. I'm going to be honest. I did not, but he's Korean. He's half Korean. Get you back straight, Tony. How do you spell her last name? I'm looking it up. In real life, she served time in prison, had 2 children with him. I think those were the twins. Married him and had to live as a registered SO, whatever, upon her release. However, unlike May December, he divorced her in 2019. Oh, she died from cancer. I didn't know that. You guys, I didn't know that. Bless his heart. I'm glad he got away from her. Because when you watch that movie, you'll see it's sad. I didn't realize she passed away. I'm over here Googling this while y'all are talking and telling me what's going on. I'm picking up the answers on Google. I didn't know y'all were writing that in. They got divorced in it says, well, Google says they got divorced in 2019. Maybe they started the proceedings and didn't finalize it, but I feel bad for him. Oh, people did a thing on him. Oh, here they are. Let me show y'all. The guy in the movie was cuter than him, though. Stage 4 cancer at 58, was a 6th grade teacher in 96 when she began sexually abusing him. Ultimately, she was sentenced to more than 7 years in prison for child. You know what? She twice became pregnant with twice became pregnant. I thought they were twins. He was 15, before he was 15, despite court orders to keep them apart. But Julianna Moore, y'all, she plays her very, very well. By the time she was released from prison, he was an adult, and he petitioned the court to allow them to see each other. A restraining order against her was dropped, but Letourneau remained a registered SE, SO, whatever, Washington State until her death. The couple married in 2005 despite the criminal history of their relationship. However, Letourneau and, I don't know how to say his last name, Fullo, split in 2017 after he filed for a legal separation. As the split proceeded, Letourneau and Fullo still lived together and were occasionally spotted out in the Seattle area. They both remained active in the lives of their two daughters. Despite the separation, he was by her side when she died, and she left much of her estate to him in her will. Huh. In the show, it comes across like he felt like he comes to realize what she did, and maybe that's what happened in real life, that she took advantage of him. In a joint statement after her death, he and Letourneau said they were deeply saddened, and Letourneau said they were deeply saddened about her death. They added that Letourneau died peacefully after a 6-month health battle. In September of 2020, he appeared on Dr. Oz show where he shared what he would do if he were attracted to a minor. I'd probably go and seek some help, he said. I couldn't look at a 13-year-old and be attracted to that because it's just not in my brain. It's nothing that I'm attracted to. I mean, we all have our preferences, and that's just not something that I would go towards. Interesting. I didn't realize she had died. What are y'all talking about in the chat? Are y'all even listening to me? Karma. I think she manipulated him. She groomed him and manipulated him. And when you watch that movie, you'll see how she manipulated him. If that's the truth. We don't know if that's the truth or not, but it's a movie. All right, you guys. It's 11 p.m. We've now been on here for 3 hours, and we've been talking smack for 1 hour of it. So I wonder if he's going to get remarried, or if he has gotten remarried. Okay. Yeah, y'all get some sleep, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. I'll see y'all at noon tomorrow for some more of for our little Brooksaholics Anonymous meeting. Y'all be good. I'll see you then. Bye.